Good evening. Welcome to episode 112 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. My name's Dave McRae, coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. He's Tony Michael in Atlanta, Georgia. It is 7:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday, May the 17th, 2021. Tonight we're watching The Conjuring 2 in the big lead up to The Conjuring 3. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live! The Conjuring 3, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, coming to theaters very soon. Are you excited? Can you hardly contain yourself? Comment below and let us know when you can. Let us know in the chat room. But tonight we are watching The Conjuring 2 from 2016. Of course, the follow-up to the very successful and critically acclaimed The Conjuring from 2013. And here we are. Tony, this is our last show for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
How you feeling
I was excited
tonight?
for Conjuring 3 like I was the night of prom night and losing my virginity.
The night of prom night of 1952. That's
exactly. I am that excited for Conjuring 3.
You are that old.
Yeah.
So, Conjuring 2. Now, I did not see this movie in the theater. I did see The Conjuring in the movie theater, but I didn't see this one in the theater. But I saw this at home. I believe I rented it. I think I might have rented it with Bruce, actually, if I'm not mistaken. But watched it, and I remember I liked it. I certainly liked it. I felt very similar about The Conjuring 2 like I did Insidious Chapter 2. And it's a serviceable, well-done horror movie because, you know, James Wan has proven that his horror directing sensibilities are quite sharp. He knows, you know, he's pretty good. Now, he's too early to be putting on the Mount Rushmore of horror. I mean, for God's sakes, calm down, okay? That is earned, and I don't think he's earned that yet. He stepped away from the horror the horror genre for a little bit, naturally, because he wants to go off and do other things. Let's see if he comes back, what he does, and, you know, sort of, you know, maybe, you know, we got to give it a little more time. But certainly in terms of modern day supernatural horror directors, he's been proven himself to be quite good. Of course, he did the very first Saw from 2004, and then, you know, of course, The Conjuring, Insidious, and he did both Insidious Chapter 2 and The Conjuring 2. And, you know, I like this movie. I think it's all right, you know, because I like the Warrens. I like Ed and Lorraine Warren. In terms of Patrick Wilson and Via Farmiga, however you say your last name. I like them. They got good chemistry together, so I enjoy seeing them return. But I have to admit, I think The Conjuring, the first Conjuring, is a better movie, although I think this is a serviceable sequel. How do you feel?
I have mixed feelings on this because of, you know, I'm like a huge fan of Ed and Lorraine, the people.
Right.
And of all their case studies, and look, I'm not going to get into the whole thing with everyone in the chat room about what you believe in and not believe in, ghosts, supernatural.
No, it gives a fuck.
Like, whatever. I find it very intriguing. I've always found it very intriguing. I did a book report on The Devil Made Me Do It story that's coming out. I did that in high school, that the movie that's coming out in 3 weeks.
Right.
So I've always, you know, embedded myself into these types of stories, and especially, you know, growing up in Connecticut, Ed and Lorraine were very well known because they lived not too far from where I grew up.
Yes.
But this story, there were, even back then, I had a lot of questions about this story, things that just didn't add up. In comparisons to like what happened the night of Amityville, what happened at the Perrin farmhouse,
right.
What happened like what we're going to see here in a couple of weeks, what happened with David Gletzel being possessed in the 3 exorcisms with that kid, and then ultimately affecting Arnie Johnson and all that shit going down, which that became a nationwide story back in the early 80s. This one, like, there's just a lot of things that I'm like, yeah, I don't know if this is like, I don't ever want to say something didn't happen, but, you know, like there's the picture, the infamous photo that we see of the young girl jumping off her bed, kind of like she's got she's got her hands in a weird position and whatnot. And they're saying she was thrown off the bed, but it looks like she's jumping off the bed. I mean, you look at that photo and you don't need to be an expert to go, things that make you go,
Yeah.
And there's like that. And I just felt like of all their stories, like you said, James Wan, phenomenal director. I really feel like this movie should have been in reverse, meaning that when Ed and Lorraine Warren in real life come back from a trip, and I think it was in England in the Enfield Poltergeist, if I'm not mistaken, I have to go back and rewatch that video where they were talking about the actual real Ed and Lorraine were talking about this. They came back from a trip, and that's when they ended up going to the Amityville house, because they had heard about what had happened with the Lutzes and whatnot. And they came in shortly there afterwards, and then they had that whole seance thing and whatnot. And I always felt like this movie should have been told in the reverse, meaning that you should have highlighted the Enfield case and then do the Amityville, not Amityville like what we've seen a million times over, but actually do what happened, because a lot of shit went down in that seance that night in that house. Like all the dudes who were a part of that died of like heart failure of some type, like a heart attack, or had some type of heart congestion later on in life. Ed Warren had a heart attack. Like weird, freaky shit like that happened through the whole Amityville thing. And I thought like that was a very missed opportunity, because one, Amityville is obviously their biggest, most popular case they ever did. Everybody knows it. The movies have been done to death. But if you do it from the perspective of not what we've seen already, but from what happened that night in the house, and maybe do a couple of cut flashbacks to shit going down with the Lutzes, shit going down with the DeFeos, tied into this one night of seance, I would have enjoyed that better than a 2-hour movie dealing with the Enfield Poltergeist case. Because like I said, I got questions about this story that I don't totally buy into from what I've read.
Right. And it's a good point. It's a valid point. And I also think it's important to remember too that, when you are translating these types of movies in a cinematic form onto the big screen,
it's going to be over dramatic.
Right. It's a dramatization of, look, when I was younger in college, I had a paranormal experience, and like when I say I had, it was it was a journey. It was it would take way too long for me to get into here.
Fuck it, own it.
No. I'm not owning it. I'm saying that's too simplified, right? Okay. So there's more to it than just that, right? It was a whole kind of thing, right? It was more complicated than that. But the actual story, if I was to tell the actual story of what happened, it would be boring as shit. And so sometimes you need to, dramatize and take creative liberties to sensationalize certain things to make them more appealing cinematically. There are some things that at face value are fine, but in cinema, it works better this way. So, when you're watching based on true story, supernatural events, you do tend to see crazy, sensational things where you're like, really? Sure. Did that really happen? And 9 times out of 10...
Yeah, like the crooked man in this film, that didn't happen.
Well, no. No, and even in the Amityville Horror, even the Lutzes, who I'm extraordinarily skeptical of to begin with, and there's reasons for it, even the Lutzes themselves, who are questionable, even they said, listen, the movie, there weren't floorboards moving and walls bleeding. They even said that. You know what I mean? So, again, that was done for sensationalism and to make the movie more of what it is. So there is no doubt in my mind that you take the basic premise of something, and then if it's something like, and then the lamp fell off the table. Well, the lamp falling off the table, maybe that really happened. But in the movie, it's not just falling off the table, it's hurtling across the room. Exactly my point, because cinematically, that works better. It's more of a visual stimulus for the audience, and it's more sensational, and it you know what I mean? So again, it's not that these things don't happen, but it can be very difficult then to weed through the weeds of what is true, what isn't, and what of is true, how much of it is exaggerated, how much of it is embellished for the sake of entertainment. You have to do that. You take creative liberties, is what they call it, right? Because they understand, well, we know that a lamp falling off the table is not really that exciting, so let's have it hurled across, smash against the floor, have an evil face come out of the wall. This is what they do. It's what Hollywood does. They've been doing it for decades. And so, And of course, The Conjuring as well. I mean, in these movies, whether it's The Conjuring 2, or The Devil Made Me Do It, there's no doubt, despite the fact that these films are quote unquote based on true stories and things that happen, when you are translating that story cinematically, you do have to amp it up. You have to sensationalize it for the sake of entertainment, or it just becomes a documentary then. And sometimes these stories work better as documentaries because, you get more of the actual kind of, and sometimes they're not that exciting. Sometimes, demonic possessions are really not that exciting. They're creepy, but they're not like,
no, it's
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
that generally
right.
doesn't happen.
And that's why I'm very curious to see what they do with this new movie coming out, because now we're going to see more of the demonic possession shit.
Right.
I mean, we've seen a little bit of it in this. We've seen it in the first Conjuring.
Yeah.
We get a little bit in this film as well too, with the girl and the old man. But if they do The Devil Made Me Do It right, this should be hardcore, possession. I mean,
right.
Balls to the wall that we haven't seen yet.
Right.
I hope it just doesn't get too. I hope it doesn't get too much like the end of the first Conjuring. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I hope they stick to more, like, keep it simple, do like, build the suspense of this, of what happened in this case.
Yeah.
And if you want to throw some shit in at the end, okay, I get it. You
because then there's right. You don't want them to peak too soon.
No, exactly. And I've got a bad feeling they're going to peak.
Yeah, and that's what I loved about the first one. I mean, there were a few little things at the end of the first Conjuring that were a little overly done, but I didn't mind it because at the end of the day, it was earned. Yep. And those are the best horror movies, or whatever subgenre you're talking about, whether it's psychological, whether it's supernatural, whether it's even slasher. Well, maybe not slasher. That's an exception. I mean, you want mean and lean and gory up front, I guess, but depending on the type of slasher. But certainly when you are in a supernatural, eerie, creepy, moody sort of, you want to have that slow burn. You want to build, you want to dangle that carrot. So when you do get to a payoff, because you got to deliver something, it feels earned. And then if you are a little overly sensational, then the audience doesn't mind it because it's like, well, you know what, this is okay. Like it doesn't necessarily feel out of place. But I mean, I did not like The Conjuring 2, but certainly it was more sensational than the first one.
I think this universe, this universe got way out there with first of all, we got 3 Annabelle movies before 3 Conjuring movies.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Then the Nun. I honestly think if what they should have done in a real nice tight trilogy, the first Conjuring is perfect. No complaints. Let's just leave it as is. Mm-hmm. I would have done either the Devil Made Me Do It story second and then conclude with Amityville because it's such a popular case. And that would have been a nice tight trilogy with this universe. And if you're going to do one Annabelle movie because that's such a popular case and the doll and all that stuff, I would have done Annabelle Comes Home because it ties into the Warrens. It's centered around Judy Warren, the daughter. So it's still, it stays within the family, but it's her story and her adventure with, the girls that she's, with that night. And that's it. There you go. There's no need for a Nun movie. There was no need for an Annabelle trilogy. And I mean, I like Annabelle Creations. It was better than the first Annabelle, but you just didn't need an Annabelle movie. And if you're gonna do an Annabelle movie, then Annabelle Comes Home is really all you needed to do because it stays within the family, as I just mentioned.
True.
But that's what I would have done with these 3 films. That's how I would have
interesting
because they're 3 most popular cases too.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's do this. Let's watch The Conjuring 2.
I'm at the 2-second mark.
I'm at the 3-second mark, but it's the same thing. Warner Brothers logo is on the screen, all dark and moody and atmospheric. The Conjuring 2 from 2016. We are paused 3 seconds into the movie, and the Warner Brothers logo, Time Warner Company, is on the big screen. Here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, The Conjuring 2. I haven't seen this movie in a little bit.
Yeah, I watched it not too long ago.
New Line Cinema, the house that Freddy built. Literally. They were on the verge of packing it in before Elm Street. Elm Street was the movie that saved them. You know what Wes Craven movie we got to watch here eventually too is The People Under the Stairs. That'd be a fun one.
Most definitely.
That'd be fun to watch.
Hey guys, I'm gonna drop a link into the description. It's a
I'm gonna drop
it's
shit.
a latitude longitude link of the Amityville house. You guys got to check this out. Do you know that the latitude of this location is 40.666?
No.
The real Amityville house, the latitude location is 40.666 and then 557. But the fact that 666 is in its latitude, that's fucking nuts.
That's crazy.
And I found that out recently watching an old interview that, because I subscribe to Ed and Lorraine's channel that's on YouTube that's being run by Judy, their daughter's husband, Tony Spera. He runs the channel now, and he posted an old interview that he did with Ed and Lorraine Warren, and Ed said that the latitude of the real Amityville house is 40.666. I was like, get the fuck out of here. So I looked it up, and I'm like, holy shit, it's 40.666. That's crazy.
That's great.
Just adds more to the weirdness to the house. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. It adds to the mystique.
And dude, so much shit went on during this seance. Like these guys, like I said, all the men died of some type of heart condition. And these men went through some fucked up shit that night. Now, whether you believe it, that it was true or not, I just think it makes more of an engaging story than what we got with the Poltergeist Enfield story in England.
Right.
She's hot. She is. I like the framing here. Nice center frame shot, zooming in on her.
Yeah, a little bit of a soft light on her eyes. That actually was probably done in post. I could see them do that in post, just mask that.
Baby blues.
Yep.
Some serious baby blues going on there.
We pull back. I wonder if that's a digital. Yeah, it's probably a digital zoom.
I mean, I get you're confined to one space because you're stuck in the house all night during this seance. But look, he did it with Saw. Yep. And like I said, you can have juxtaposition shots with flashback sequence of shit that happened with the DeFeo family, shit that happened with the Lutz family without retelling it, but really focusing in on the seance that Ed and Lorraine Warren went through that night and everything that happened to everyone there, the photographers and shit. I just think that would have been more of an interesting film than the Enfield Poltergeist story.
Right.
I don't know. Like, is it progressed? I'm kind of like you. If I were to rank the Conjuring franchises for me temporarily until I see this one that comes out in a couple of weeks, I like the Conjuring, then Annabelle Comes Home, then this, then Annabelle Creation, then I don't give a shit.
I have not seen I've not seen any of the Annabelle films. So I've just seen the
I honestly think all you really need to watch is Annabelle Comes Home, and that's it.
Probably will.
It's a fun movie. The other two, I don't, whatever. Like Creations is good. It takes a lot of liberty on the doll and whatnot. I think the beat that they missed with Annabelle is the story that they should have told is about the nurses, even though we get a glimpse of it in the first Conjuring, and they do a callback to it in the first Annabelle. The story of what happened in the three nurses in Hartford Hospital or Hartford area, Connecticut, that story in itself was fucking creepy. And that should have been the Annabelle story if you were going to kick off the Annabelle in her own, trilogy or whatever. And the fact, that's why I didn't like the first, when I was going to see Annabelle, that was the story I was expecting. When I saw that story, I was like, well, what the fuck are we watching? Like, no, this is not what happened.
I gotcha. And this and
not even close to what happened.
This story about DeFeo, who just recently died, by the way.
Yes, that's back, right. He did.
Is so strange. Like but I mean, not even supernatural. Like I'm talking about. I know he, the devil and voices told me. Like there's speculation that he wasn't alone. Because I don't understand how he could have, because the coroner said that all the kids, like everybody was, that's a creepy shot though, of that kid.
It is very creepy shot.
Genuinely
That's also
creepy.
based off of a popular photograph.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I've seen that photo. Yeah. What's funny is that, supposedly everybody in that house was shot and murdered in their bed. And if it was just Ronald DeFeo who was doing it, you know, it makes you wonder, how did nobody wake up and hear those shots? And how, because he murdered 6 people, and apparently, according to the coroner, from what I can remember, the official ruling was they were all killed in their sleep. And I'm like, really? I'm like, and then there's speculation about DeFeo and his sister, and you got to dive into it. And it's a fascinating story, but I know the official story is that he, you know, it was him and him only, and, you know, and maybe it was, but there's just, beyond the Amityville horror, you know, movie story that we know with the Lutzes, there's weird shit even just on that night where it's like, how did nobody wake up? How did, you know, and I think they were all like found on their stomachs or something like that, or
it's just fucking,
it's just weird,
bonkers. Well, that's like the Annabelle story, like the real story with Annabelle, and not only with the nurses, but there was they had like a, I don't know, group of college kids went to their house after Ed and Lorraine Warren had the doll.
Yeah.
And a biker dude was there with his girl, and he was acting Mr. Tough Guy, and like, oh, there's nothing wrong with the fucking doll. The doll is fucking stupid.
There's our first look at the nun. Sorry to interrupt you. Our first look at what's her name? Valak, the nun. Yeah,
Valak's cool. I mean, it's a creative, cool character. Has nothing to do with Ed and Lorraine.
I was just gonna say
case studies.
I was just gonna say it's a creative, cool character, but why does the nun have its own movie when it really is only a wasn't Valak really just like, it was something
it's
that
a demon. It's a demon. It's all it is. Yeah,
it is, but I'm hazy on the details again, but I remember reading this article about how it doesn't make sense to have a nun movie when she was only like, its purpose was served in this movie in terms of how how Lorraine was.
That's it.
Using
Valak serves its purpose in this film, and that's it.
It's like, without Lorraine, it doesn't make sense in some ways. And I forget the story now. It was a major. It wasn't just like a blog. I'm talking. It was a major.
Yeah. No, I got you.
And it was, and I was like, that's a very good point. And yeah. Although I will say, I do hope that when The Conjuring 3 comes out, they have this kind of beginning again. I imagine they will, right? Oh, you know, the yellow text and shit.
I gotta believe they're probably going to start off with the David Gutzel possession.
Right.
I mean, unless they go back and forth between the two stories, because the stories do intertwine with each other. But then there's also this witchcraft part of it, of how this whole thing fucking began. That I know we've seen glimpses of it with Vera out in the woods, and kind of gets a Blair Witch vibe to it. I mean, that's based on the witchcraft story that how the kid became possessed. There's, I think it's mother or aunt or some shit. They went up to upstate New York and were practicing witchcraft.
Yeah.
So if they do it like this, like you just said, it's probably going to be that way, I'm guessing, unless they do a back and forth thing between the kid's case and Arnie Johnson's case, which will get fucking confusing after a while. But what I was saying with regards to Annabelle and the biker guy, you know, when he was at the Warrens' house and he was basically taunting the doll, dude drives off with his girl and they get into this like fucking bad motorcycle accident. He dies fucking getting impaled by a tree, and she's in the hospital for almost a year recovering. So like weird shit like that, I that's what I was looking forward to in the Annabelle movie, and instead of the garbage that we ultimately got, because there's a lot of weird shit that happened surrounding that doll. Now, I'm not saying the doll is demonic and all that shit, but there's just weird things that happen, you know?
Right.
It makes you go, all right.
Yeah. I forgot that. It's funny. I was looking at our resolution on the screen here, and I still have it at 3200 by 1600. It's 2K. Sorry about that, folks. If we look
stretched out a little bit.
If we're a little stretched out a little bit, it was like that
it's
specifically.
Okay, it makes me thinner.
It's like that for the premiere of It's Me, Billy this weekend. I was doing some tests and I forgot to put it back because It's Me, Billy is 3200 by 1600. It's 2-to-1 actually ratio in terms of we shot like that because our DP wanted the height. And they shot, I think from what I remember, it's in between like anamorphic and it's like a nice balance between the two common. They shot movies that I think they shot Jurassic World in 2:1, and not 2:1 as in like 4x like it's a and who knows, maybe in The Conjuring 2 is 2:1. I have no idea, but I was like, yeah, if you feel you want to do that, let's do it. So that's what we did. It's a little wider than standard HD. So when we come back, I'll make sure that we're back to HD because there's no need for us to broadcast in anything else other than HD.
You sound like you're whispering now.
I am whispering. I'm being very quiet.
Like I can barely make out anything you're saying. I don't know if anyone else in the chat room got that, but I like totally missed everything you just said.
Probably because you have the movie there too. Here we go. Let's get used to these kids again. Frank had a good question here. He said, Tony, do you believe that the photo the Warrens took in the Amityville house was John DeFeo, Ron's dead brother, at the bottom of the stairs?
Hey, look at it again. Hold on.
Or maybe the photo was faked. Who knows? Who knows? It is a creepy photo, though. I always tell people when you are looking at photographs of unusual things, when somebody presents you an unusual photograph, you always have to ask yourself, and if you can, ask the photographer, why were you taking this photo to begin with? You know, if it's just like the corner of a room, right?
Okay, you're talking about, Frank, you're talking about like the scene that where Lorraine sees the little kid on the staircase with the eyes glowing.
I think Frank is talking about the actual photograph.
Yeah, that's the one he's talking about, right?
Right.
Just to make sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it right now. I mean, it's not saying it's impossible to be able to superimpose an image over an image back in the 70s, but
no.
I mean,
but
there were no kids in the house. Because I'm such a fan of Ed and Lorraine Warren, I don't like to totally question everything they do, like I did with this case that we're watching tonight.
Right.
I give them the benefit of the doubt that it's very possible that was a real ghost that they captured on film, especially because it was filmed too.
Yeah, it's a very famous photo. It's at the bottom of the stairs, isn't he?
Yeah. No, it's like the banister is like in the shot. He's kind of peeking his head out the door of the bedroom. The kid is.
1 second here.
If that's the one he's talking about.
Yeah. I see it. Yeah.
I mean, I like to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, you know. But I mean, it's hard to say. It's also a photograph that, it's
iconic, especially in the ghost hunting world. That's one of the more iconic photos.
Yep. I don't know. Oh, yeah, there it is.
I think this is when we first,
Show that photo to our audience in a second here.
You know, the scares in this movie were decent. They had a couple of good jump scares.
Yeah, I love the moment, I forget when it is, but when the girl is sitting on the bed and there's like this face that slowly emerges from the darkness behind her, but then she turns on the light and it's just the poster. That was really well done. Great illusion. It was great. Yep. Like you see this face kind of behind her in the darkness and you're like, what the fuck? And then they turn on the light, I believe, and it's just her poster on the wall. And you're like, that was so well done. I do like the scene in this movie too, where who's like, where like the crooked man's in the chair or something. And then he comes like what's like the old man in the chair or something. The fuck, I haven't seen this in a while. There's like, goes into like a meditation or something, and there's...
Oh, and she's got water in her mouth.
So, I can't remember. I'll show it to you when it pops up. But yeah, now you see that face behind her there. Well, she's got two posters, right, on the wall behind her.
Later on, coming up. Yeah, I know what scene you're talking about.
Yeah, it's really
a very
effective.
Cool shot.
It's very effective, and it's really, really well done. And I love that shit. Again, nice slow burns, dangling the carrot. You know what I mean? It's good stuff. I don't dislike this movie at all, but I do still like the first one better. I think the first one was a better representation of what Juan was doing in this movie.
Yes,
it's still good, but
the first one. There's a lot of roughness to the first film. It's not as polished as this film. This film to me is just a little bit too polished.
Right, I gotcha. And what year was this supposed to be?
This is 70s.
70s again?
Yeah.
I remember at the end when like the basement floods or something and Freddy Krueger's going to come out of here in a second.
That'd be a great crossover.
I'm gonna kill you.
Conjuring and Freddy.
But Dave, nobody other than Robert Englund. Shut up. Nobody other than Robert Englund can play Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, Dave. Nobody.
Oh God.
Nobody. Other than Robert Englund.
Nobody. Well, welcome to the Becky Rivers, or was it the Becky Rivers show?
It's the Becky Rivers show.
Rivers or Rivera's show? I had sideburns like that about 15 years ago. I'm not kidding.
I had the sideburns back in the day, the Luke Perry, Jason Priestley burns.
Same. Yep. Yeah, I did as well. A lot of people did back in. I'm going to start wearing a suit like this fat guy here. Oh, he must be the skeptic. Now listen.
There's always the skeptics out there, and Ed and Lorraine took some shit for the Amityville case.
Well, you know what though, but
he always. I give Ed credit. He always faced his critics. He never hid. He faced them one-on-one on these shows. I mean, this is. I don't know if it was this, like the name of the talk show was this, but the context of this show is he faced these people. He didn't hide from them. No. And he believed in the Amityville case.
Yep. And I think it's important too to remember that there's nothing wrong in and of itself with being skeptical. There's a difference between being skeptical and being cynical, right?
Yes.
I think everybody should be skeptical because I think, I would like to believe anyway that even Ed and Lorraine Warren, the real, couple, would probably agree with what I always say, which is more often than not there are reasonable explanations for unusual occurrences. Sure. Right? I mean, more often than not, the bump in the night you hear or the such and such you hear, if you actually investigate, it does end up being the cat, the dog, the door, the loose screw, whatever it is, right? And that's with my experience that more often than not, there are reasonable explanations for unusual occurrences. However, there are moments where things cannot be explained and unusual things do happen, but it's good to be skeptical because if you're not skeptical, you're gullible and you believe every fucking thing. And you need to be skeptical. It's important. You have to be because you don't want to just because your credibility depends on it. Right? It depends on being skeptical and looking at the evidence and going where certain things are and not being afraid to say, I don't know, or you know what? Oh, I guess I was wrong and all that kind of stuff. That's really important.
I'm skeptical on a case by case, not skeptical about every case, but like this case, I'm very skeptical on. Like there's a lot of like things that but it's not every case because I do believe like whatever you went through back in your college days, I believe it. You know what I mean? Even though I wasn't there with you, I believe the story that you're telling me that you went through some type of supernatural thing.
Yeah. And it's, it's just, there's a big difference between being skeptical and being cynical and being a professional debunker that you're not interested in evidence or the goal is just to tear things apart. And that's, and there are people out there that do that make a profession of doing it. That's what they do all day, That's what they do. They call themselves professional skeptics, but that's not really, it's not.
I call them professional dickheads.
Yeah, but but it's not, it gives the term skeptical a bad name, because we should all be skeptical, all of us, over, and again, I do, I do, and I'm somebody that's been through unusual things and stuff, and I'm saying that it's important, because, there were things too that we were like, oh my God, holy fucking shit, oh my God, and got really excited about. I remember when I think
this is your scene, not to cut you off, dude. I think this is when we see the face.
Oh, is it? Okay, well, let me hold. I'll put a pause on my fucking mouth here for a second, and let's see this. This is so well done. If this is it. This is so good. Let's see here. Let me see here.
I keep trying to look over her shoulder.
Yeah, I think she's got to sit up more.
She sits up.
Yeah, oh, wait, no, she's lying back down. Okay.
No, because she sits up here in a second.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, right here. Here we go.
Here we go. Oh, no, you can kind of see more behind her already. I think it's later on in the movie. Now, the fact that she's looking at, again, but this is good shit, right? Looking at the corner of the room, there's nothing there. This is, Juan has brought that trope over, not trope, but brought that type of thing, I guess I should say,
from
over
the first film. Sure.
From the first film. It's not nearly as effective in this movie as it was in the first movie.
No, not even close.
But, hey, it's let's do it, right? Okay, all right.
It worked the first time.
Let's try
and do a little twist to it.
It was okay here, but the way she's looking in the corner there, nice fall off. They probably put a bit of a mask in there to make it darker, because you can do that. I mean, you can absolutely do that even in film. I mean, they would have lit it like this, obviously, but yeah, it must be a bit later. It must be a bit later then.
Shit, I thought it was this scene. All right, but anyways, go ahead with back to what you were saying.
I was gonna say that. Now that's creepy as shit. That's so well done. Did they cut there or no? Was there a cut?
I don't think there was.
I don't think there was.
No, you are. Here it is.
That's right.
Here it is. Yeah.
That's right.
Because she heard.
Right.
Oh, there he is.
Isn't that fucking creepy as fuck?
See him.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that great?
Yeah, that was.
Isn't that so great? Yeah, you faintly see him. That's so well done. I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, oh. It's smart. This is the and
it's subtle.
It's subtle, but it's so smart. Yeah.
And now she doesn't want to turn the light off.
No, that's right. It's very well done. It's very well done, and it's so good. It's so good. Yeah, that's really well done. Yeah, no. Like I remember that I don't know how to get into this without getting. I remember that we captured something on camera. We took a video camera over to this location. We captured something on camera. Everybody,
when you were in college, right?
Right. Yeah, 20-something years ago. When we were watching it back on TV, and this is like high 8 millimeter shit. This isn't like 4K stuff here, folks. This is camcorder shit. And I remember, and it's at night, and we're using night vision, so everything looks green, right? So I remember we captured what looked like, and everybody agreed it looked like this, 100%, this figure walking away from the camera in the snow. It's January, it's snowing, it's 2:00 in the morning, in the middle of fucking nowhere, outside of this house. Imagine take the Conjuring house from the first movie, put snow there, it's 2:00 in the morning and you're outside. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing.
Sure.
And everybody agreed, and I had the camera, and we didn't see it when we were there, but it looked like there was this, the arm motion of somebody out there walking away from the camera. We're all freaking out. We're hollering and whoa, oh my, holy shit, you fucking see that?
Do you still have the footage?
Well, I do, but I'm going to get to the point of why you need to be skeptical. So, because it didn't turn out to be that. So, we're like, holy shit, holy fuck, oh my God, holy crap, holy shit, holy fuck, oh fuck. And we're like, well, we need to go back. And then I'm like, are we sure that that's not, no, do you? And I turned to everybody and I said, we need to go back there, and we need to go back there right now, because we need to see if that thing that I think it might be is there. So, anyways, So we go back, we travel, 10 minutes down the road. It's 3:30 in the morning now. It's cold out. We get there. We trench through, 3 feet of snow out in the middle of fucking nowhere, this house. We get there and it's like minus, 15 degrees Celsius, by the way, not Fahrenheit. And I got, the camcorder again. I turn it on and we get to that spot and I'm looking through the viewfinder and I look, and sure enough, it isn't somebody that was walking away from the camera. It was an illusion that was created by light and shadow and the snow on top of these sticks in the snow. And because I was moving, I was walking when we captured it, it looked like the sticks, it was an illusion. It was a trick of the camera. It looked like the sticks were walking as well, but walking away from me. It was all an illusion, a camera trick. And I walked right up to the sticks to prove that, and we all went, oh man, we were all excited, but we were relieved at the same time.
That fucking scared me.
Sorry, dude.
No, the fucking movies. The guy
that's
screaming.
what I mean. Yeah. But that's what it is. Like, we were relieved at the same time to know that we weren't going around saying that we've got somebody on camera when we really didn't. So it's those kinds of things that, I am somebody that does, and like I say, belief is an evidence of something's existence. It doesn't, I'm not saying people can't believe in what you believe in. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I'm the first to admit that my belief in something is not evidence of that something's existence. You need tangible evidence, right? Having a belief in and of itself that's not the evidence. The belief isn't the evidence in and of itself. You have to be able to have, tangible, measurable, objective evidence, right? A belief is subjective. But I am somebody that does believe in unusual things beyond. I think there is enough circumstantial evidence at the very least, and more than that, to suggest that there is something, I don't claim to know what that is, but something does survive the process of death. Consciousness, there's something that we don't know. That doesn't mean that it can never be explainable. Maybe science will be able to explain it one day, and hopefully we can. But I do think it's important that it's too bad that the word skeptic has a bad connotation to it, because people that just search to debunk, people that just search to knock shit down all the time, no matter what, they're not skeptics. They call themselves that, and I understand that's what it's called, but they're really not. They're cynics, and they're debunkers. They're professional debunkers. That's what they do. And so, but being skeptical, you have to be. Scientists are skeptical, and that's why they measure, right? They're skeptical and they measure and they, and all that kind of stuff. You have to be skeptical, because if you're not, you're gullible, and you don't want to be gullible. You don't want to believe everything that just somebody says, Anyway, sorry, dude, you were going to say.
No, I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you had something to say.
I mean, the only thing I've ever captured was that at that abandoned house, that I don't know what the hell that is in the window.
Oh, I know. Yes. I saw that photo. That was fucking weird.
I don't know if I caught a flare off the lens.
Yes.
But the fact that it jumped from window to window in different shots that I took of the house, that was just fucking, I don't know. I mean, and plus it's just a white thing. It's like, I feel like it's like a weird figure of something,
right?
But I don't see anything else on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just whatever. And like I said, I'm not saying that I didn't catch something or that I did catch something. I'm saying that it's weird. I don't know what it is.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with saying it's weird. It's fucking strange. It looks like this. I don't know. And I think if more people weren't afraid to say, I don't know, it's okay to say, I don't know. And I say, I don't know about a lot of shit. I mean, listen, I have an EVP on cassette tape that is one of the clear, and I'm not talking about where, it sounds like fucking nothing, but people say something that it sounds like, and then you kind of have to strain your ear and I guess it kind of sounds like that. No, I'm talking about legit fucking clear English as day EVP that would knock your fucking socks off. And I know for a fact that there were only 3 people there, and it was none of us. I know that. Now, was it a ghost? I don't know. I know that that's the common theory, that that's what it is. EVP, electronic voice phenomenon, it's a ghost from the other side. Okay, but we haven't been able to prove that objectively, so I don't know. All I know is that it could be a ghost. It could be what they call imprints. It could be another dimension. It could who knows? I don't know. But I can certainly tell you it's fucking weird and it's strange. And it's made me that alone has made me more of a believer in the sense of that there's something going on. I don't know what it is, but there's something going on beyond this reality.
What was that meme I posted the other day, which I totally agree with, that people who say that ghosts and demonic spirits don't exist, and then I think it concluded with, well, prove to me that they don't exist. You know what I mean? You're saying that they don't. Well, why don't you prove that they don't? You know what I mean? Like we have no evidence that they don't exist, but we have very little evidence that they do exist. I'm on the side that if you can prove to me that they 100% absolutely do not exist, okay, then you made me a believer. But there's things out there that have happened over the course of history that make you go, well, shit. You know what I mean? Like, like you question it. We're gonna do the case here, the movie Emily Rose, which is based on a real life.
I saw that in the theater.
Annalise,
that was a good one.
Annalise, isn't that based on the Annalise case?
Yeah, that was good. I remember seeing that.
And I've seen real video footage, and I've seen that chick and the pictures and stuff in real life. Like, that makes me think, like, well, fuck, did something happen to this girl? What happened to this girl? I don't know. That was a cool jump scare.
It was. The color grading on this movie is
very blue.
That's right. Very, very cool. It's a very cool color grade.
Very little.
Ooh, that was very Insidious. Like, that was good. That was good. Very Juan. But you know what? Again, it's classy.
Juan definitely has he's got his like MOs that he likes to call on for jump scares.
For sure. If I made him, and I'm not saying this, but I like his, if you're going to make a movie that requires jump scares, that, is a little bit more sensational than something like a Black Christmas or an It's Me, Billy, or, something like that. This is what I would do. I would, you have fun with them. You don't make them feel cheap necessarily, or, and for God's sakes, I would not have the fake jump scare. Where it's like, the hand goes onto the shoulder, you turn around, but it's your friend. How many fucking times have we seen that in a movie? Like, there are horror movies out there where they do that like 10 times in a movie. And you're like, God, stop doing it. The false jump scare. It's like, it's cheap. It's cheap. Yeah. At least one, at least it's kind of scary, Yeah, but very cool. Well, not this scene here. I mean, this scene is
I've noticed when you're at the Enfield house, it's very cool. But when you're at the Warrens, you get back to some warmth.
Yeah. And I think he did that too, because most of the first Conjuring was a very warm sort of color grade, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, very 70s, very orangey, tungsteny warm. And then in this one, it's a bit cooler, a bit colder. Again, not in this scene, because you got the yellows and the browns, a lot of yellows and browns. Fascinating stuff. Frank says, Dave, can you say, are you scared? You should be, because you're on scare tactics.
Scare tactics.
Who says that? Or is it just what's Scare Tactics? Is that a show?
I don't know.
Scare Tactics? Is that like a show? Are you scared? You should be, because you're on Scare Tactics. Or you say it like an announcer. Is that Mr. T on the wall back there? No. Oh, no. For some reason, I don't have my glasses on. That's not Mr. T. The fuck would Mr. T be doing on the wall?
I pity the fool who tries to haunt this house.
I pity the fool. The foo, not fool. Foo.
The foo. I pity the foo. Trying to haunt me.
I pity the fool who tries to haunt this house. That'd be funny. Nope, she's on the floor. Yeah, definitely more sensational earlier in this movie than in the first Conjuring.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I said it's just this is one. I'm not particularly a big fan of the story. Two, it's just a little bit too polished. The one thing I do like what I've seen so far with the Devil Made Me Do It trailers, it looks a lot like the first Conjuring. You know what I mean? It has that feel and vibe to it. So I'm hoping that we get back to a little bit of that.
I think part of that,
and not as polished.
Yeah, I think part of that could also be because it takes place, near you. Like it takes place in the South. You know what I mean? And I think it does, right?
What?
The
Devil Made Me.
No, you're right.
No, the Enfield Poltergeist takes place in England.
No. The Devil Made Me Do It. You're right. Is in Connecticut. That's right. That's right. But
and
again,
the first Conjuring takes place in Rhode Island, except they filmed it in the South.
Right. No, you're right. You're right. That's why it kind of looked like that. You're right. You're right. I stand corrected. But still, you get back to more that country green kind of vibe, where this is more of an urban story.
All about that blue lighting.
Yeah, it's a nice blue though. It's not.
Yeah, you're trying to create a moonlight.
Yeah, like you want to evolve people. The term, and I might be responsible for this because people fucking it's like Dave, blue lighting. It's like, well, but it's not.
Dave loves his blue.
Yeah, you don't drench everything in blue, and B, Moonlight has evolved to be more. Moonlight isn't blue. Okay, no, Moonlight is sort of a whitish off color blue. Like it's very pale. Like when I was talking to our DP when we were doing It's Me, Billy, he, when we were talking about our Moonlight, he didn't want to go like Halloween blue. He wanted to be a little more natural, a little more authentic, which is more white. But they go blue. A lot of the times you'll see more of a bluish to the Moonlight to distinguish it from a light source per se. So it looks a little more kind of dreamy, nightimey. Like it's got, again, cinematic language, right? It works better for cinema. And you as an audience recognize, this it doesn't feel like there's a spotlight on them. It looks more because it's bluer and it's or an off color white. I believe now that this is sort of moonlight or the ambient nighttime light or something. So it works better for cinema. But if you yourself were out in the woods at night and the moonlight was shining down upon you, it's
gonna be pitch black.
Yeah, well, that and it's not Halloween blue.
No.
That's
or Friday the 13th Part 7. Remember when they're out in the woods there? And it's like, what the fuck? Like there's a lot of light in these woods, man.
Yeah. But again, you take creative liberties for
sure, I get it.
For cinema, because sometimes it just works better for cinema. I mean, we had those things too on It's Me, Billy. There were certain things that we were like, well, we could shoot it like this or we could shoot it like this. Well, let's shoot it like this because it works better for cinema.
Like right now, I'm in the process of setting up a really cool Friday the 13th Sackhead Jason shoot. I'm stealing some ideas from Part 7. Actually, it's going to be a girl camping at night, so we're doing a night shot in the woods, and I'm working right now with my camera to see how can I get the best small touch of blue moonlighting without doing what they did in Part 7, using the campfire light as well too as part of all my light sources. And I've got some cool things some cool lighting things that I purchased that I think is going to give me the overall effect that I want for the photos that I want to create. But it's not as easy as you think. It's really fucking hard.
I bet. Oh, it is. It is, for sure it is.
Because I just don't want it to look cheesy. I don't want it to look like Friday the 13th Part 7.
Yeah, no, I got you.
That blue lighting that I'm going to create for that night moonlight, I want it to basically create the shapes of the subjects in the shot.
Right.
Which in this case would be the girl in the tent and the campground.
Yeah, and area. Again, shout out to our lighting and grip crew for It's Me, Billy, who did such a tremendous job. There's I can't tell you because it's a spoiler. Well, it's not a spoiler, but I just don't want you to. It's not a spoiler in the sense that it tells you anything about the narrative, but I want you to see it rather than me tell you about it. But there was a lighting setup that was the largest that our crew had done, and they did such a tremendous job.
Can't wait, man. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, 10 days tomorrow. 10 days. 10 days. We'll see. We'll see what people think. Well, and then the world premiere, the private screening for those that were lucky enough to snag some will be on is this Saturday. So you may see some social media posts from a few people who because I've
seen the entire film already. No, I'm just
no, we are allowed. Yeah, I can send you a link this weekend if you want to see it.
No, I want to wait till
you
everybody else gets to see
it. You want to wait till everybody else? Okay. Yeah. But I can, but yeah, we are allowing, after the screening, there's an embargo, there's a review embargo, but we are allowing people who did attend, if they want to post on social media, their general thoughts. No plot points, no spoilers, but just, a general sort of consensus that you sometimes see with Hollywood films, like, oh, I thought it was great, and it was this, that, the other, whatever, or I thought it was dog shit, or whatever. We are allowing that, but yeah, and then hopefully everybody will behave.
You gonna send it out to the boys to watch and review, like Cody and Wham and those
yeah,
guys?
That's the plan. That's the plan. Yeah, early next week, I think. I'll send them a Vimeo link probably. Yeah, it's hard to believe we're almost.
I know. Down to 10 days. It's nuts.
Yeah, you hear people going, it's fucking crap. Fucking sucks. Fucking sucks, man. Fucking sucks.
Well, it's easier to hate on someone's work than to create.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Well, listen, I mean, not everybody's gonna. We went out and made a Black Christmas sequel, and there will be people that will love it. There'll be people that won't like it. And that's, I don't say that because I'm not confident. I'm saying this because it's the reality of, and maybe hopefully more people will like it than not. But, you have to have realistic expectations, right? It's not a Friday the 13th movie. It's not like we got, it's not, like 10 people being killed or something like that. It's as I've said before, I can't say anything, but I will say
spoiler, nobody dies.
It's Dave's
going to keep you on edge because he's going to do a sequel.
That's it. It's the most Black Christmas. It's more Black Christmas than the other two films. Let me just say that. I think anyway. But it's a psychological, I mean, it's a horror movie because that's the genre it would fall under, but it's a psychological thriller. It's got that burn, we develop characters. It's a movie, right? It's not just
By the way, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Their house looks nothing like the house that they chose in this film.
Oh, no, you're right. You are right.
The Warren house looks nothing like this in real life.
No. Well, and neither did the Conjuring house from the first Conjuring. But again, I
didn't know this until someone pointed, and I'm drawing a blank on the
Doesn't it look like she's wearing like Child's Play fucking Chucky thing here?
Well, like where on the bookshelf it says Valak. And someone pointed that out to me, and I never knew that until
I didn't see that.
I went back and rewatched the scene. I was like, son of a bitch. It does. Like when they pull back here, look at the bookshelf. It's the letters spell out Valak. You see the V, the A, the L.
You're right.
Yeah. I was
you are right.
Son of a bitch. And I'm sorry, dude. You messaged me that on Instagram, and I'm drawing a blank on your name. And when I saw that again, I was like, son of a bitch.
But you know what, though?
Noticed it.
That, again, symbolism, smart.
Yeah.
Smart stuff. And you'd be amazed in movies how often I don't just mean horror movies. I mean movies. The great storytellers will often, and they will tell you this, they will often take classes in psychology. And because if you know how to manipulate, because that's what you're doing, there's so many things that will appear that will go into your head when you're watching a film that don't even affect you consciously, you know? And, if you know how to do that, it can, because you are creating an art that is, you are effectively creating something that is designed to manipulate the emotions of your audience.
And speaking of that, I thought that this scene and the tension that they built in this scene with between Valak and Lorraine, I thought was well done, very well executed, really cool scares. I love that at some point here you're going to see Valak walk across in shadows.
Yep, I love that.
Very cool. I love how they manipulate. I want that painting. I want to get a replica of that fucking painting and just hanging in my room.
Just hanging over your bed.
I'll never get laid again. Girls will come in and be like, "No, I'm gone. See ya."
That's right. That's right. You hang it over your bed. Hanging over the bed. Do you think they'll stop? Well, do I think they'll stop? It all depends what happens at the box office. But do you think that The Conjuring 3,
I mean, they really should. I mean, I don't know what else you can do at this point. I mean, granted, now, I wouldn't say stop. I would say give it a break for a good minute. I mean, look, Vera and Patrick, they're only in their mid-40s, I believe. They're not much older than you and I. You know, so they can always come back to these characters 10 years from now, you know, barring nothing happens to them and they're still alive and they're healthy. Because there's a ton of, they can still do the Amityville story. And there's other stories that they can do within Ed and Lorraine's case study. So, I mean, yeah, in theory, Vera and Patrick can be playing these characters for the rest of their lives. But I think they really should, as much as I love this, you know, the Conjuring and the Annabelle Comes Home in this movie, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy The Devil Made Me Do It. It needs a break. You know what I mean? Even though this movie that we're watching tonight, I think it came out, correct me if I'm wrong, 2016?
2016, yep.
So it's been 5 years, so it's not, but we had Annabelle Comes Home in between that. And I think the reason why there's been the Conjuring oversaturation is because of the 3 Annabelle films, the Nun movie, and now we're getting a 3rd Conjuring movie. If they had just stuck to what I said, 3 Conjuring movies with 1 Annabelle film, that would you wouldn't be as oversaturated with this. So I think you can take a break and then you can come back, you know, in 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like they did with Halloween. And like I said, the 2 actors here, they're young enough. I mean, Ed and Lorraine in real life were doing this. Like, I love that. Coming out the window.
Yeah, it's
cool as fuck.
Yep.
Such a cool. And the woman that they cast to play Valak, I mean, she's great.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I'm not knocking her, and it's cool that you got your own standalone film, but I mean, come on.
No, well, that's my point. Is that it's like, her? She served this. Well, it's this. I feel the same way about Annabelle.
Like you said, she serves the connection to Lorraine, and that's it.
Right, and it's and I feel the same way about Annabelle. They're auxiliary players. They're not. Right. I mean, I understand the attraction because she looks cool. She looks cool, and I understand that.
Well, and that's why I said at the beginning, it works. Annabelle Comes Home works because the movie centered around Judy, the daughter. And, you know, of course, she has 2 girls over at the house, and they go into the room that they shouldn't go into. They open the case that they shouldn't open, and shit hits the fan. That makes sense from a storytelling. The other 2 Annabelle films, doesn't fucking make sense at all. Like, I don't get that shit. And that's what I enjoyed about Annabelle Comes Home is it was like the Adventures in Babysitting done in a ghost story. And that's what I enjoyed about it. And it ties into the Ed and Lorraine, you know, family. You know what I mean? But now we're focused in on the daughter.
So do you recommend that I watch Annabelle Comes Home before Conjuring 3?
You could. I mean,
wait,
I don't think
where does Annabelle Comes Home fall in the timeline in the Conjuring universe? Is it after Conjuring 2?
I think it's before Conjuring 2, if I'm not mistaken.
So you think it'd be like Conjuring, Annabelle?
But there's stories in the Annabelle Comes Home, like the white lady dress and all that stuff that I don't know if they're going to tie that into this film. You know what I mean? Like, because I haven't seen it.
I got you. I got you.
So it takes place before the fucking Conjuring. Okay. But that doesn't make sense because they had the doll and Annabelle's in The Conjuring.
So it takes place
that
before the
doesn't
very
make any
first Conjuring.
sense. But that doesn't make sense because they had the doll.
The doll?
The doll.
Your doll?
The doll. I guess it does. Okay. Well, whatever.
Really?
Fuck a duck.
So Annabelle Comes Home is essentially the first time we see Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Technically the first movie before
the very first Conjuring.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Okay.
Well, now this one says Annabelle Comes Home takes place either 1968, 69, 71, or 72. It's 4 years. That's or actually, yeah, that's 4 years. You can make up your mind. And The Conjuring, they're saying takes place between 68. Well, if they're saying it takes place between 68 and 71, it means they're talking about the opening of The Conjuring with the Annabelle backstory, and then The Conjuring jumps ship to 7. Okay, never mind. I get what they're saying. Okay, so Annabelle Comes Home does take place in that time frame because you get the opening recap of the nurses in Annabelle Comes Home, and then it skips it. That's right. It skips ahead to 69. Okay, yeah. So that makes sense.
Janet, are you all right?
Janet, are you all right? Are you all right, Janet?
Yeah, this is based on that. I think this is based on the recording that Ed has in his file cases.
Is this where she like taps into the old man, like the crooked man or something, and he starts to see him in the chair?
Into the old dude.
Weren't they going to make a crooked man movie or something?
God, I hope not.
I'm the crooked man. But see, there's another auxiliary player that they just fucking leave alone.
Yeah, it didn't even work for me in this movie. Honestly, I wasn't a fan of it.
I didn't care either.
I mean, it was cool, but like, I don't know. I mean, like, I think the fact that it's not even a CGI character, I think that's cool. But yeah, I think with Annabelle Comes Home, I guess based on reading, that would make sense that it takes place before and after, and parts of it are in the middle of everything that happens during The Conjuring. You know what I mean? It's kind of a combination of both.
Okay, fascinating.
So, but I think of all the 3 films, I think that one's the one you would probably enjoy the most.
Okay, I have to check it out. When does the devil maybe do? I think they should just call it Conjuring 3. They should just have called it Conjuring 3.
Well, it is Conjuring 3.
No, I know, but
the devil made me do it.
I know, but they should have just called it the Conjuring 3.
The Conjuring 3, yeah.
You got to go back to the numbering.
2 weeks, June 4th.
June 4th.
Well, 3 weeks. It comes out right after when we come back.
72 years old. 72 years old. I come from the grave. I come from the grave.
Oh, in fact, I think they play a little bit of the girl talking at the end of this movie.
So the devil's channeling through, or not the devil, but the whatever's channeling through her right now.
Yeah.
I want to listen to it. Hang on.
I like to hear.
But see, there's things that happen.
He's even got a British accent.
I like to hear.
I know, right?
I like it. Oh, the best.
But like, there's things that happen during this that, like, this woman here, they catch the girl doing shit and staging things, like, legit.
The real story
in the house. Yeah, like that like how they catch her doing stuff in the video later on in the movie, that legitimately happened as well too. That's why I'm saying there are things that happened in this case that I'm like, really, this is the one we're going to focus on. Like, I think Juan, if I were in the production meeting, I would have said, dude, you should flip this and do Enfield as like a little footnote, focus in on Amityville.
Right.
There's just too many questionable things that happened in this story that it's hard for me to buy into and believe, Whereas I look at this movie as just a fun ghost story,
right?
Based on things that were said and happening during that time. I don't look at it like the first Conjuring, even though the ending is very sensationalized. A lot of that shit the parents, went through during the time that they lived in that, farmhouse there in Rhode Island. They went through some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
That I won't doubt them until I can disprove that what they went through was bullshit. I won't. And there's nothing to this day that shows any evidence that they did not go through that to this day anyway. So, but with this case, there's a lot.
Right.
There's a lot.
The Crooked Man. My name's the Crooked Man. But Dave.
But Dave.
But Dave.
But Dave. But Dave.
But David.
David.
Wow, but Dave, why are you not doing it right?
What are you watching?
Oh, hello, Christopher. We're watching The Conjuring 2.
The Conjuring 2. It's my favorite.
Is it really? I like The Conjuring 1 better.
Well, it's okay.
You don't like The Conjuring 1?
What?
I'm just joking. I love
The
Conjuring
what
movies.
I mean by her faking
great.
an event, like the iconic photo of her jumping off the bed. That's been debunked. Like a lot of people have researched and studied that photo.
Can you send me that link? Throw that link in the
I'm gonna try to send you the photo.
Well,
Um,
well, there's the Crooked Man.
She totally looks like she's jumping off the bed. That's what I mean by staging the event.
Okay. My shoes are tied. They're untied. That's young Walken.
Yeah, like this one, dude. The one I'm about to fucking send you.
Young Christopher Walken's, hello, I've got a coronary problem. Old Christopher Walken, like how he is now, he's like, come on.
Fuck.
I know that I'm not there. I love watching horror movies.
This did not happen.
He's more gravelly now. He's more gravelly than he's ever been. I love.
That's Christopher Walken now. But in the 80s, he was up here. It was great. Did you send it to me?
I'm trying to.
Oh, he's trying.
There we go.
He's trying.
Okay, here we go. Wait. Let me see here. On Instagram? Oh, by the way, I love your photo today. Oh, great. I've been meaning to see this. Greg, our DP, posted a clip on Instagram of a film he shot. Was it last year or the year before, called Hypernova? And I've been waiting. I've been wanting to see this. Looks fantastic. Not surprising, though.
I just sent you one.
Greg's fucking great. So this is supposed to be her being tossed off the bed?
That's legit. Yeah, like that's legit. Come on, man. Like she's totally jumping off the bed.
Looks like she's jumping off the bed.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, who's the woman sitting in the bottom right?
I think it's the woman, the skeptic that's in this movie. I think it's her.
Okay.
In real life,
I think it looks like she's jumping off the bed.
That's what I'm saying. Like it does. Like it, that's what I'm saying. Like,
this photograph. Let's see if I don't know if I can get up to the camera here. This photograph right here, folks. That's not evidence. Like you can't. It doesn't. You can't even show that. But I'm sure the audience didn't see that. But it doesn't. Okay, whatever. It just looks like she's leaping off the bed. I can't use that as evidence. Because it's so easy
that's
to
what
replicate.
I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is like the inspiration for that scene later on in the movie where they talk about her staging an event is based on a lot of this stuff in evidence that they did legitimately capture during this whatever they went through.
Right.
And when you look at that photo, come on.
Right. Yeah.
You don't need to be an expert.
What do you think, Chris? Well, I think it's fake. It looks like she's jumping in the air. Thank you, Chris. That is usually where people jump, is into the air.
Off their bed. You know what I mean? Like
sometimes.
If there was no bed there and she's
jumping
that
to the
high off
arms.
the ground, like, I mean, that's fucking, you know, but the fact that she's jumping off a bed, of course, I mean, we used to do that shit as kids.
No, I would not. I mean, that photo alone is, I mean, you can't, you know, what are you going to do, right?
Yeah.
No, that's insane. I'm going to start dressing like Patrick Wilson.
You should, like Ed Warren.
In this movie, I'm just going to start
dye your hair black, slick it back.
Yep, black, slick it back, grab the sideburns, have the brown turtleneck with the, I'm doing it. I'm doing
Argyle type sweater.
I'm doing it. I'm going all preppy, baby.
I like the Elvis Presley callback though in this one.
Yeah, it's good. Elvis is good.
That was a nice touch.
As the snow flies, as the snow flies on a cold and gray Chicago morning.
Is that In the Ghetto?
Yeah. In the ghetto.
In the ghetto.
In the ghetto. Thank you, Chris. You can leave now.
I'm leaving. I'm going downstairs.
Okay, Chris. We'll see you later. Bye. Christopher Walken.
Kingslayer. Did you guys like the Nun movie? I thought it was okay, but I don't know. But I know people hated it. I hated it. I own it, but I hated
it. Jim Dorsey. Christopher Walken saying, "You doll.
You doll. You doll?
Your doll.
You doll.
That Annabelle doll.
No, Chris.
You doll? You doll? Your doll's shoes are untied.
Okay. All right. Chucky.
Chucky.
I'm going to find Chucky.
It's funny. It's an hour into the movie, and the Warrens are just getting to the location now.
I know, right?
That's a major setup there. It's a major setup.
Chester, was I mad when Tom Brady left New England? No, the company screwed him over. He went to a better place, and he shoved it in their face by winning a Super Bowl this year. I still cheer for the guy. That's been my quarterback for like 2 decades. I was very happy for him that he won.
You know what's right? You know what? I saw on Bloody Disgusting. People probably gonna hate me for saying this, but I just find it perplexing. On Bloody Disgusting's Facebook page, they posted, because obviously I follow them. Cool people over there, really been kind to us, and it's me, Billy. And
it's a lot of crosses.
It's a lot of crosses. It's an uncomfortable amount of crosses. And did you know that Kylo Ren's lightsaber is an upside down cross? Ooh. Anyway, so on the Bloody Disgusting Facebook page today, they ran an article that said that they're in develop, not them obviously, but the studio's in development on another Pet Sematary film.
No.
And me. Now my first thought was like you. My first thought was, what? No. What? But I look at the fucking, Facebook page, right? And it's got 100 hearts and
9 million likes.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, this is what's fucking wrong with the people. This is why you keep getting shit. This is why you keep getting shit. I'm like, what is wrong with people? They're having another Pet Sematary movie. They're making another Pet Sematary movie. That sounds like a good idea. That sounds like a good idea. It's like, this is the problem. That should have 9,000 frown faces.
And you can't dislike on Facebook, right?
I know. It's just funny. I just, obviously I'm busting everybody's balls. Calm down if you're excited about it. I'm just yanking your chain. It's to each their own, to each their own. But it never ceases to amaze me when I'll see something and I'll be like, they could announce, I don't know, that they could this is the kind of world we're living in, Tony. They could literally say, you know what? We're going to make 45 more Saw movies. Like they've greenlit 45 more Saw movies. Okay, that sounds like a good idea.
Dude, are you kidding me?
Thumb up.
They could say that about the Halloween franchise. Everyone would love it.
But it's true. Touche.
They would totally love it.
But the reason why, the most recent Pet Sematary was a colossal failure, a box office disaster, and it was a dog shit movie. The Halloween 18 movie was a box office smash, the highest grossing slasher in motion picture history. So at least it makes business sense to make more. But when you look at this, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I am always so amazed at what people will put up with. It's like, oh my God, what is wrong with people? Let's have another Pet Sematary movie. That sounds like a good idea. That sounds like a great idea. Actually, I don't think it was a colossal bomb, but certainly wasn't a very good movie.
I didn't enjoy it. I watched it, and I was disappointed because I really like John Lithgow.
He's great. Love John Lithgow.
He's such a great actor.
Mm-hmm.
Rarely am I ever disappointed with shit that he does.
Yeah.
In fact, I really couldn't think of anything up until Pet Sematary. I was like, damn, like this just not land for me at all.
No. Now, I don't know if the new Pet Sematary is a sequel to the one that came out a couple years ago, or if it's they're rebooting it again, or if it's a spinoff. I don't know. I didn't bother reading the article. Admittedly, I didn't bother, but I didn't need to. I don't think we need anything connected to fucking Pet Sematary. I didn't need to. I read that and I'm like, what? Another Pet Sematary? But why? That sounds like a great idea. Thumb up, heart can't wait. So excited. Oh, yeah. Like, what the fuck? People. Oh my God, what is wrong with the world? This is why we can't have nice things, okay? This is why we cannot have nice things, because we support dark shit. To each their own, to each their own. Dave, I'm offended.
But Dave...
I got to get But Tony in there. But Tony!
No, you can't do But Tony. You just got to be like, Tony's such a dick.
Oh, yeah, I should get that. Yeah, Tony's such a... Yes! But it's got to be your voice saying it, though. You have
Tony's such a dick.
Yes!
Such an arrogant fucker.
Yes, but it's got to be you saying it. It's got to be you, your voice going, Tony's such a fucking dick.
Yes! You got to, like, tweak it a little bit.
100%. I'll put some, like, reverb on it.
Bat Tom 360 timestamp is 1 hour and 8 minutes, pretty much exactly.
Yep.
4 seconds, 5
Yep.
seconds,
Hey,
6 seconds.
Same, 6 seconds, 7 seconds, same. Look at Patrick Wilson, look at all dashing.
Yeah. And you notice after they left Connecticut, now they're here in England, it's blue.
Everything's
totally
colder.
That cold.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I wonder what they shot on. I wonder if they shot on the Red or the Erie.
And I've seen the second Insidious, but I'm totally going to watch Insidious 5 to support him. And the fact that he's directing it, I'm excited for him that he's getting that shot to direct a movie. I want it to succeed. I mean, I think it's crazy that it's in the franchise, but I want it to succeed for him because I like him as an actor. I support him in just about anything he does. Yeah. I'll watch because he's one of those actors.
He's a good actor.
That he doesn't need to be the lead. He doesn't need to be DiCaprio or whatever. But, most of the movies Patrick Wilson does, they're solid films. I enjoy them. Yeah.
And I really liked the first Insidious a lot.
It's great.
It's probably one of the best horror movies of the last, 20 years. Like, the first.
Yeah, that's right. That's coming up on its 20th soon.
No.
7 years?
No. Insidious Chapter 1 was 2010, but it was.
Oh.
But it was.
I thought it was 2007.
But then it was 11. But I will say this, though. I didn't mind Insidious Chapter 2. It was interesting. It was a bit of a prequel, and going forward, it was okay.
Yeah,
I didn't mind it. Chapter 3 surprised me.
3 or 4.
3 is directed by Lee Winnell, his, James Wan's.
That was his first?
Buddy. No, Winnell's first was Upgrade, I believe.
Okay.
And then he did Insidious Chapter 3, and it was okay. It wasn't as good as the first one or the second one, but it was like, for a third movie, third installment, second sequel, it's actually not bad. It was all right. I didn't bother seeing the fourth one. The fourth one, I was like, but we'll see what Wilson does with 5. We'll see what he does with 5. How much more can you
This is the scene you were talking about, right? With the water where she...
Yes, that's right. You were right. Yeah. This is it. I thought this was actually really well done in terms of its effect.
Because I like the depth of field out of focus. You
that's
slightly see the old man instead of her, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was definitely, the cinematography on this was tight.
Yep. It was a creepy scene.
Too tight.
I like that. I like that line. Here's a deep cut. I like that line from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, when they're all like, he's this, he's a little too this, it's that, it's a little too that. And then I think Donatello's like, it's Raph, referring to Raphael, who's been caught. And then I think it's Michelangelo. It's like, yeah, a little too Raph. And I remember being a kid laughing fucking hysterically at that because it doesn't make any sense,
Right.
It was just funny. It's just really funny.
The first two Ninja Turtles, well, the first one's iconic.
Oh, first one's great.
We'll have to do that one night. Second one was all right. Secret of the Ooze was
Go
was
Ninja,
cool.
go Ninja, go Ninja, go.
Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, Ninja.
Third one, the time traveling.
No.
Wasn't really feeling that one.
Mm-mm. No, that was when they changed the outfits and they had these big grins with teeth and everything. And
weird looking Ninja Turtles. But the first two were, good.
Yeah.
Little Ernie, was his name? Ernie Reyes Jr. was in the second one.
Yeah, something like that.
Pizza delivery, karate guy.
Yeah, this is a good scene.
It is. Well made. I like the lighting on
Patrick's
face is really good. A nice little Rembrandt lighting going on there on him. And then with Janet back there, she's out of focus, but you're going to slowly start to see Bill, who's the ghost, become.
Have you ever thought about doing, or maybe you answered this already, excuse me if you have, but any Conjuring photos?
Yeah, I am. I mean, it's just, I've got to find a guy who can be Ed for me, a girl who can be, Lorraine, and then I've got a house that I can do it in. I've got a good house that I can do like the first Conjuring. Then it's getting kids and all that stuff. And with COVID, I'm keeping my shoots down to like a very small group of people for right now.
Right.
Until all of our mandates, because the moment like cops see you with a large group of people, they're like, what are you doing? You're breaking guidelines.
Yep.
Stupid.
What are you doing? You're breaking guidelines, you damn son of a bitch.
Yeah. So I'm keeping everything to like 2 or 3 people on a shoot for right now until shit gets to normal.
Patrick Wilson looks like he should be.
But I definitely want to do Conjuring, and I want to do a Valak shoot. I love the character.
Yeah,
the character is a really cool character. I totally want to do it.
Yeah, that'd be good. That would be good.
See how like now you're starting to get Bill slightly in focus.
Yep.
Not much, but just enough to see that it's changed. It's not Janet anymore.
Yeah, that's right. It's very well done. That would have been done in post, obviously. It's really well done.
Well, they could have done it in camera. That could be the actor behind Patrick Wilson who plays the old man Bill.
Oh, it could be. But the crossfade into like the
crossfade, totally in post. But that could be legit. The guy
could be.
Everybody has to put that up with that with the police. They really discourage people doing large gatherings and shit.
Yeah, up here's a colossal disaster.
Oh, you guys got it worse than we do.
I don't know what the fuck is going on up here. They just extended the stay-at-home order and the lockdown for another 2 weeks. And it's like,
I know this word is frowned upon, but it starts with the letter G and ends with the letter Y, and there's an A in the middle of it. Okay, that's how I feel about it.
It's just
I don't mean that to be offensively, but it's just.
No, I know what you mean. Oh, there's the cross. He's got the cross out. Yeah, that's great. Love how he's like shriveling up. That was great. That's really cool.
And then now, nice little cross dissolve.
Yeah,
back to Janet.
That's it. That's it.
Plus, it's not even that, like dealing with the cops. I think parents right now are a bit hesitant to put their kids in a group setting like that. You know what I mean?
That too, yep.
You know what I mean? So I think it would be really hard for me to get that type of a shoot right now. In The Conjuring, especially the first two films, you need the kids. Without the kids, it's hard to do a Conjuring photo shoot.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't been able to do, like, I got the Jamie Lloyd costume. I've got everything lined up, but fucking, it's hard to get a parent to say, yeah, go ahead. My kid can go out there and not wear a mask. And when I don't mean a Halloween mask or Jamie mask, I mean like a COVID-19 mask.
Yep. It can be hard.
So it's fine. Things will eventually, like, I got a feeling we're going to be becoming a little bit like Florida here soon. I think I can see Georgia getting into the reopening again. So yeah, I just realized I'm talking to my sister and cousins, they never shut South Carolina down. Never. The whole time this whole's been going on. I was talking to them the other day about that, and I'm like, wait, they've never, she's like, nope, they've never shut us down that one time.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Oh yeah, things are a disaster here.
Well, yeah, I saw that video the other day due to that priest getting arrested on the highway. I was like, what the fuck is going on in Canada? Not priest, but pastor or whatever of that church. Man, that is bonkers.
Can I sleep in your bed, Mama?
Yeah, dude, Trip McNeely, the only time I wear a mask is in a grocery store. That's it. I don't wear it in the gym. Our gym doesn't require it. I don't wear it on shoots because right now I'm the only person inside the location when I'm shooting, unless I'm doing a commercial shoot, which I've only done like 3 or 4 of those since last year. You know what I mean? I had that one big one here not too long ago. That was nice. But even that was controlled with very little people on set. Everything right now for me has just been real estate. And I'm not complaining. Work is work. But yeah, the grocery stores down here, I'd be dealing with a bunch of Karens if I wasn't wearing a mask. God, I'd set so many people off. I've been tempted. I've been so tempted to just be like, fuck it, I'm not going to wear it. Just to piss people off. But I won't.
Where did you guys go? Oh, there you are. Hang on. Trying to find keep clicking around.
Chester, I've never heard of Drowning Pool, buddy. I just checked them up on Spotify.
Never heard of them.
Never heard of them, dude.
Hello.
Hello.
Would you like me to scare the shit out of you?
She's on the ceiling. She's Tina-ing it up. Imagine she starts like her slices and blood just rolling all over the ceiling. She dies a violent death.
That'd be great.
Oh yeah. Fuck the kids.
Fuck the kids. Dang. I gotta tell you, I one of the things I do like about Halloween 2018 that they did that with that kid. The kid wanted to be a dancer. You show Michael snapping his neck. I'm like, damn. Like, you went there. All right. I will say that was a cool, even though it was a callback to Annie, very similar to Annie being killed in Halloween. I was just surprised. I was like, wow, you don't see that too often in a horror film. A kid being killed.
What I'm about to say will probably offend people, but whatever. Can you imagine if Michael, when he walked by the baby,
oh, it just went slip. Oh, I was hoping. We're so sick, but I was kind of hoping. I was like, oh, do it. No,
he picks up the baby in his hand like this, and just I
was talking like with the knife, just one time down, and that's it. Baby goes silent.
Starts stabbing it like crazy. Oh my god, that's awful. It's awful. It's just awful. It's horrific what I've just said.
I love this scene with her in the room in the process about
relax,
to go upside
folks.
Down.
Relax. It's just
Very
some dark humor. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I love this scene with the crosses are all starting to, like, this is a shot that I want to recreate so bad.
And when
when you look at this room, the way it's set up right now, it totally looks like an abandoned house that I.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And all I gotta do is just get a bunch of crosses, put them upside down, and hang them on the fucking wall. Get a girl about this kid's age.
Yeah.
And recreate the shot.
Yep.
I so want to do that.
They're all turning over to Kylo Ren's lightsaber.
Of course, I'd be putting them right side up and doing like a holy water thing and
right.
afterwards to make sure no bad shit happens.
Right. Oh, there he is. The old man. The old British man. Dr.
There's people
Loomis.
in the chat room saying they wanted Michael to kill the baby.
Oh, God.
We're fucked.
Oh, it's dark. It's black humor, folks. Dark humor. Yeah, very dark humor. Obviously,
well,
that's
come on.
not
It would have been awesome just to see him. You got the theme kind of playing lightly in the background.
But I wouldn't. Not for
baby.
Me. I would have just I would have wanted it just because of what other people's. See, it would not have. It would have surprised me. I would have been like, well, that was a little unnecessary. I don't think you had to do that. I'm surprised they got away with it through the MPA, but. It's the reaction from other people. I love watching people lose their minds. Oh my God! It just would have been amazing. I couldn't have cared less, but
But come on, picture it. Michael walking through the house like that.
It's crazy.
And the next thing you know, he just goes one time.
Yep.
One time down and up. And then the baby just goes silent. Oh, the MPAA would have been like, no.
Oh. No. Like, no.
We're not allowing this.
Especially if you added a...
Exactly, like the baby's crying and then silence.
But it's a oh my God, it's like a people lose their mind.
You need to do a whole show on that. Should Michael have killed the baby?
Should Michael have killed the baby?
It would have fit Michael's personality. He's pure evil.
But
you don't care.
Dave, I'm offended.
It's really.
Listen, folks, there's reasons why Dave and I are not parents.
Oh, yeah.
and this is one of them. Talking about a baby getting killed in a horror flick.
Oh, it would have been awful.
Do I like Avenged Sevenfold? Tanner, I've never heard of them, buddy. And I'm guessing these are more new bands that you guys are mentioning. Not really caught up with music in like the last 10 years, 15, okay, maybe 20. Like most of the music I listen to is like 90s, 80s, definitely 70s, and like 60s and 50s. A little bit of the old standards from the 40s. My dad played some stuff that I liked, like Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, shit like that. But yeah, dude, I don't listen
Fly me to the moon.
Hardly any contemporary music. Like honestly, like almost none.
Oh.
Yeah, like see, now they're even showing like the shot here, like he says, it looks like she's just jumping off the bed. The photo that I sent to you.
Yeah, they should, in this movie, they should have made it look like she wasn't jumping off the bed.
Yeah.
You could have done that.
Totally.
The Conjuring. The devil made me do it. The Conjuring 4. The priest made me do it. Dude, that's a whole other movie right there.
For real.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad.
We're going to hell.
The Conjuring 4. The priest made me do it. Oh, man. Oh, man. Just no. No. Oh, no. We got to be out on that one. Oh, dude. What kind of movie would that be? Woo! That's the spoof. That's something you'd see in Family Guy.
Yeah.
If Family Guy spoofed The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It,
It would be that.
It would be
Totally
The Conjuring, The Priest Made Me Do It. That's totally what it would be. And then it would be about some priest coming on to Stewie. It's totally
Stewie.
Yep. 100%. That's what it'd be. That's exactly what it would be. It would be Herbert coming on to Stewie. What's going on, muscly arms? That's what it would be. Oh, man. It'd be so bad. Is this the first time they're meeting the... No.
No. They've already.
That's right. That's right. I forgot. I was going to say, holy shit.
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart.
Wow, I just totally went Captain Picard on that one. Patrick Wilson is going to sing some Elvis.
Engage. What is? Oh yeah, he sings Elvis. Hang on a second. What does he sing again?
Engage something. I don't know. I haven't seen The Next Generation in a minute.
Wise men say only fools.
Actually, this is probably my favorite Elvis song. Well, this one, and I like Suspicious Minds. That's a good one.
Oh, Elvis has got a lot of great tunes.
Ghetto is the one you were singing earlier. That's a classic as well too.
Jailhouse Rock.
Jailhouse Rocks. If I Could Dream, that's a powerful
All Shook Up.
All Shook Up. Yeah.
All Shook Up is great. His latest Flame is really good.
Yeah.
Return to Sender.
I've always wondered if I know he wanted to do the acting thing, but I often wonder if did that hurt him or help him? Like there's that huge gap where he wasn't doing music except music in the movies that he was making.
Yeah, he also was in the Army for a couple years. Well, I mean, then
he came back in late 60s.
He is one of, if not the greatest 20th century cultural icon.
If he's not the greatest, I don't know who is.
Right. So it's kind of like, if it hurt him, I would hate to see what he would have been. I mean, if he, hadn't done it, you know what I mean? I mean, yeah. I made a post.
I mean, there's literally not a corner in this planet you couldn't go to and say the name Elvis and people know who you're talking about.
No, exactly. And I found a stat about a month or so ago. I posted to my social media. I think it was something like this. Today, Elvis Presley today, 44 years after his death, 44 years after his death, he is still today the highest selling solo artist in music history.
Nuts.
44 years after his death.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It was something like that.
I love what he says here. It's so light.
It's so light. Yeah. And this is an actual stat.
And that's back in the 70s for them. That would be small and light compared to like what we have today.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But that's nuts that he's still the highest to this day.
He is. I'm trying to find it here. Hang on a sec.
There's few names.
Yeah, here it is.
There's only a couple other names out there that you can say that, like Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
People know who Babe Ruth is. Elvis Presley. Yeah.
Yep.
They surpassed what they did and became an icon.
They transcended. I posted this on April 16th. I said, you know what power and influence looks like? 44 years after his death, Elvis Presley remains the best-selling solo artist in music history with an estimated 1.5 billion sales worldwide.
That's nuts.
And he's been dead for nearly half a century.
Yeah. He's been dead longer than he was alive, right? He died when he was 42.
Correct. He's been dead longer than he was alive.
Which is weird to think, that he was our age. And yet, do you not feel like you're still young and
he has sold according to the stats, he has sold an estimated 500 million more than Michael Jackson.
Damn.
And Michael Jackson is nothing to sneeze at. He's second. Okay.
Yeah, he's right there.
So I mean,
Elvis.
He's right there. But 44 years, he's like, it's insane. It's insane. So if it did hurt him, I would hate to see, imagine what that would have, holy shit. No,
yeah, because I wasn't like Blue Hawaii is probably the only. Well, no, Jailhouse Rock is.
King Creole was pretty good.
King Creole's all right, but a lot of his films were just so cheesy and campy.
Oh no, you're right. And my dad, who was an Elvis expert, said the same thing. Said that, and he loved Elvis, and said no. He made a few good movies, but most of his movies were not very good. And when he came back in 1968, which of course was the '68 comeback special.
Oh, that's a great. I have that album. That's such a great album.
Fucking great. And he got himself back on track. And people who are maybe a bit younger than us, when they think of Elvis, they think, of course, fat Elvis with a jumpsuit. But that was really only what he looked like in like 2 or 3 years before his death.
Really? Yeah. When you look at like the Vegas show that I have too, that's the way it is on vinyl. Yeah. He's trimmed, doing karate. Splits on
Elvis
stage
was a black belt in karate.
Yeah, like dude knew what he was doing.
Yep, 100%. He was fit up until about maybe 75. He was fit, and then he went downhill.
I think what happened, a combination. Yeah, I know the drugs played a factor, but I think him losing Priscilla, I think that was tough on him, and he never got over it. And just the combination of drugs,
the fame,
and just
the schedule, the fame, the attention. He couldn't.
Well, Colonel Parker was putting him on that ridiculous schedule.
Yeah, and he just couldn't do anything. And did you know that Elvis Presley never performed outside of the United States?
I did not know.
He never did. No, it might have been out of North. He might have come to Toronto once.
He didn't do one. You sure he didn't go to Tokyo?
I don't think so.
He was beamed in Tokyo from the Hawaii.
I don't think so. In terms of actually performing, he might have come to Toronto actually. It might have been Toronto in the 50s, like early 60s. I want to say there was a Toronto show.
He didn't actually leave the physical land of North. Well, no, he did. He went to Hawaii.
Well, yeah. And he might have gone to Europe for other reasons, maybe. I don't know. But like perform like concerts and stuff. I don't believe he ever did one outside of North America. I don't believe he did. It's crazy.
It would have been super cool if he was doing it at the time, if he was still doing music and not movies. I don't know if the love-hate was there as bad as they made it seem, but it would have been cool to see like the Beatles and Elvis doing a show together in their prime. Are you kidding me? In their prime. I'm talking like early Beatles, 60s Elvis, early 60s Elvis. That would have been some shit.
Yep. His first song that spun him onto the scene in 1955, That's All Right, Mama, That's All Right. That was a great tune too. And people thought he was black way back in the day. They thought, who is this young black kid, you know? And Elvis is known as the king of rock and roll. But of course, rock and roll existed before Elvis. It was rhythm and blues and certainly, but it was Elvis. Even like people like Chuck Berry and all that say, Elvis was the man that was able to bring our soul, our music from the ghettos
to the masses.
And that's why he's known as the king of rock and roll. He made it common, you know what I mean? Whereas a lot of that stuff before Elvis was just very kind of, it wasn't mainstream yet. But yeah, that first song he recorded at Sun Records in 1954 or something like that for his mother's birthday or something. That's all right, mama. That's a great fucking song. And you hear that, and I can imagine at that time, be like, who the fuck's this kid?
Too? Wasn't he born a twin?
His twin died. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cool shot there of the old man under the water.
Oh, the old man in the water.
Yeah, that's
out.
great.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, that's power, man. Being dead for 44 years and you're still the highest. Fuck. What the fuck, man?
Chester, we'll probably be doing Halloween 3 sometime in the fall towards Halloween. Probably not going to do it anytime soon. I think, though, just to give you guys a heads up, I think what we're planning to do for the summer here in July, maybe even June, started off in June, go through July, is do the old school 90s summer blockbuster films that we talked about doing. That I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Like
that's
Twister,
be a lot of Twister,
Independence Day, Armageddon, maybe Deep
all
Impact.
Those like cheesy 90s fun summer blockbusters.
That'd be fun to do. Be fun to do. What is that? A tooth? No. What is it out there?
Like the dentures.
Oh, dentures. Yeah. Dentures. It's the here's my denture. Hey, Ed, toss those fucking things over here, you damn son of a bitch. Looks like my teeth fit your bite there, bitch. Imagine that's what he sounded like. He was crass like that.
Right.
You hanging the fucking stocking, are you? Where's my fucking stocking, you damn piece of shit? I'm gonna put a lump of coal in your damn stocking, you fucker. Grandpa, calm down. No, fuck you. Grandpa? Dad, don't talk to the kids like that. Fuck you. That'd be great.
So she doesn't see anything. They kind of they do the callback to that where she sees it, but no one else sees it.
That's cool. It's effective. It's effective. I don't feel, not that I need to, it's a different family, but I felt more of the camaraderie and the chemistry with the family from the first film than I ever did in this movie.
Agreed. Yeah. I totally agree.
But the kids are fine, but it's a little, no pun intended, because it actually aesthetically does look colder. The film overall feels more emotionally colder.
Yeah, you're right. I'm more attached to the Perrin family than I am to the Hodges family.
Right.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you know, this looks like a wig this kid's wearing.
Yeah, thanks, Die Hard drummers. Obviously we're always going to do horror films, but we want to try different things on our show. And I thought we talked about it a while back about, with the summer approaching, doing like the old school 90s summer blockbuster films that Dave and I grew up with when we were teenagers, and we started rambling off some stuff like Speed was another one.
Oh yeah,
we had mentioned. So I think we're just going to go through and
bus.
We're going to look at all of our action films that we have. Twister, I know we're going to do, and Armageddon and Independence Day. We'll try to maybe get 2 more in there and do like 5 for the summer. I think that'll be a cool little run to do between June and July.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, because folks, over the next couple of weeks here, we're not going to be the next 2 Mondays. We won't be around.
Yeah, so, we'll be back in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
we'll be 3 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. Ed, get down here! I'm beating the shit out of this guy. Be funny to put a voiceover. It'd be funny to put my old man in this movie, but you never see him. He's just always like a character in the background that's screaming, and you hear him. So you always hear him. Come on, Ed, you fucker! But you never see him.
Who's my favorite Golden Girl and why? Oh, it's kind of a combination of Dorothy and Sophia.
Yeah.
Just because I like Dorothy's, I'm going to tell you like it is, and I don't give a fuck if you're going to be offended by it.
Yeah.
Same thing with Sophia. I'm going to tell you like it is, and if you get offended, well, that's too fucking bad. But it's the combination of both of them. It's you can't have one without the other. You know what I mean? Because they both really play off of each other well. I mean, Rose is great because Rose sets up the dim-witted lines for Dorothy to come back and be like, "Really?
Yes,
fucking idiot."
Yeah.
But all 4 of them, I mean, really all 4 of them played well off of each other. But if I had to pick my favorites, it would be a combination of Dorothy and Sophia for sure.
I think so too. And
well, that's your show. That's your show.
My show. It was my mom's show. They're all great. Like, they're all great. I mean, even Rose, Betty White's is so funny. But yeah, Dorothy and the one-liners back and forth, Shady Pines, Ma, Shady Pines. That's all she's got to say,
That's it.
To shut her up. Yeah, it's so good. It's creepy that she's like all smushed in there.
I forget her name in real life. Who played Sophia?
Estelle Getty.
Estelle, thank you. Yeah.
I visited her grave when
you did.
Yeah, when I was in LA a couple years ago, my girlfriend and I went over to the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, where a lot of people are buried, a lot of names, and saw the tombstone of Mel Blanc, of course, voice of Bugs Bunny and Daffy, and got my picture taken with that, and then I think they have like a map that you can have with all names and stuff. And we walked around, and then I saw that Estelle Getty was buried there, and I was like, "Oh, it's too bad." My mom is also gone; she's passed, because she would have loved to have seen Estelle Getty's.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I would have been. So I went over there, And I didn't know this, but thanks to our viewers, I learned this because she was actually Jewish. And when I went over to the tombstone, it was hard to read, but it was hers for sure. And it's like, listen, folks, a lot of these celebrities, I kid you not, like unless you're somebody like a fucking, you know, like a Marilyn Monroe, you know what I mean? Or somebody that's got like legend, pop culture, almost transcending the, you know, kind of thing, right? You're just buried in a fucking yard with everybody. Like that's what it is. Now, Marilyn Monroe is also buried there. I think it was that one, but she's like in like a tomb in the wall in this fucking building with lipstick and she's buried she's not even buried. She's like in the wall, you know, in this tomb next to Hugh Hefner. You know what I mean? So like there's certain people that get like, you know, these real like monument kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But Estelle Getty, if you blink, you miss it. Like she's buried next to some no-name named like Bob. You know what I mean? Like you don't even know. And it's just a regular size tombstone. And, but there were all these rocks on top of it. And I was like, oh, I wonder why there's all these rocks here. But apparently one of our viewers said to me that that's a Jewish custom or something.
I think it is
for when somebody dies or whatever. I don't know what it is. But I didn't remove them. Like you know, it's not like I was like, what the fuck, get these off here. You know, I just thought it was cool. So I took a picture, and I was like, that's cool. You know, that's cool that I saw her.
In fact, I think people do a lot of that at Ed Warren's grave site because I see Tony Sparrow, Judy's husband. He'll post videos like updates of the grave site and the nice tombstone that they made for Ed and Lorraine. But people leave like little spiritual like rocks and trinkets there, and I think that's very cool that people show that type of respect. Yeah, you know, and it's cool that they did that for Estelle Getty as well too.
You should see though, if you guys ever go to the Hollywood Forevers, you should see some of the tombs of some of these. My fucking God. It is like a fucking monolith. Like some of them have like this river of water, and then at the very end, there's like this gigantic like monolith tomb, and you're like, who the fuck is this? And it's a name you probably don't even recognize, but it's got to be some influential, some guy, you know, that had money that was buried there, who probably a business guy or something. Like it's insane. And then you go over, and sometimes celebrity, like stars, will have just like a plaque in the ground, and you'll be like, what the fuck? How does like Faye Dunaway? I don't know if she does, but it's like, but you know, it's like that kind of thing where you're like, that's it. It's like this. It's like completely innocuous. You could step over it. It's like, what the fuck? That's fucking. It's a legend lying here. What the hell is going on? It's crazy. It's crazy. So sometimes the people you think would have like, oh, you know, their tomb must be just, you know, it's a big celebrity. No, not at all. Because it also costs money too, don't forget, too, to maintain, you know, and not that they don't, but I'm just saying sometimes their families don't want that. They don't want the attention. They don't want the headache. So they just give them a nice little tombstone off in the corner and call it a day. You'd be surprised how many
That's what I've got.
Have that.
My request is that you cremate me, but then you got I want my ashes to be spread out in several places. One, I want it to be in the original Myers house, but just rub me into the ground or into the floor so they can't get me out of the house. Right. Then do that in the Elm Street house as well, too.
Okay.
Then do it in the Chainsaw Massacre house, which I think is now a bed and breakfast.
I think it is. Yes, I think you are correct.
And then do a little bit up in Stu's house where the final moments of Scream took place. And then last but not least, put me out where they filmed part 6.
Okay.
Which is a camp. That's where I want all my ashes to be spread out.
Now, do you have this written in a will or paper? Okay, good.
No,
good.
on paper.
No, on paper. Okay.
Not that's going to happen, but that's where I want to go.
Yeah. But I saw some cool. Don Knotts' tombstone's really cool. He's not in the Hollywood Forever. He's in another one kind of downtown, a smaller one. But his tombstone is really cool. I should post a photo of it. I wonder if I could quickly grab a photo.
Timestamp is 1 hour, 43 minutes, 48 seconds, 49 seconds, 50 seconds.
Let me see if I can actually quickly get a picture.
We're coming up to the denouement of the film.
Because Don Knotts' tombstone's really cool. And then, of course, I also saw Don LaFontaine's tombstone. Don LaFontaine, the very famous voiceover guy, in a world guy. Tanner. A lot of people were DMing me the other day when I posted my Leatherface photo and telling me the negative screen testing for the new Chainsaw Massacre film. I hope they don't fuck it up. They probably are going to.
And then I'm just gonna have to do a fan film.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's coming.
But I hope not. I have hopes. Fingers are crossed on it that it comes through and it's good. But it's never a good sign when you get a negative screen testing right off the bat.
Who's this? Yeah, Jane Mansfield. Jane Mansfield, living legend, has just a plaque in the ground. It's kind of cool though. She's got her face on it. I could show you that one, but like, I don't know if our audience knows who Jane Mansfield is. She was a famous Hollywood actress. Okay, where's Don Knotts? I'm just looking at my photos from a trip a couple years ago. Okay, here we go. Here's a picture of yours truly next to Don. Oh, no, that's not a good one. Let me cancel that. Actually doesn't bring it up very well. Hang on. It's because it's awkward because we were taking photos of the sun was in the way and we were trying to get the sun out of the way. Hang on a sec. I know this has nothing to do with The Conjuring 2. Sorry. My apologies, folks. Conjuring 2 is a little sidetracked. But it's good, though. If you're watching, keep watching. What the fuck is it? What the fuck?
Look at that sharp-looking man there on YouTube. Laying next to a cemetery. You creepo.
I didn't post it yet.
It popped up.
Oh, it popped up for a moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
For a moment. But I wanted another one. Hang on. I have a better one. Okay, so this is me trying to take a photo. I'll get me out of it. This is me trying to take a photo. Hang on, let me just actually see what this is. Yeah, no, that's not a good one. This is me trying to take a photo of Don Knotts' tombstone, but you'll see my shadow in there. But this is really fucking cool. Look at this. Isn't that... Oh, wait. Isn't that a fucking cool tombstone? It'll pop up in a second for you guys. Isn't that cool, man? That is really cool. This is where Don Knotts is buried. For those who don't know, Don Knotts is, of course, Barney Fife on Andy Griffith, Ralph Furley and Three's Company.
Ralph Furley, yep.
Yeah, that's his tombstone.
Very cool. Artwork is really good.
Artwork is incredible, and that's where he's buried. That's him, just lying under the ground there. He's a fucking TV legend. And he's just like, now, mind you, that is actually that's actually a very nice tombstone. But there are a lot of legends like that just have like a name and a date. And you're like, really? Like this person is buried here? That's it? And then there are people like Michael Jackson and Marilyn Monroe and all that kind of stuff who have like, like tombs, like they're buried in tombs in like buildings and shit. It's crazy. I think Judy Garland is like that too.
Wow, he died in 2006?
Yeah, a while ago.
He died the same year. That's when Ed Warren died, 2006.
Yeah, exactly. It's great stuff. I love it. I think it's a great tombstone. Chester Franklin Jr. says, that looks dumb. I disagree, Chester. I think it looks great. If that's what you're referring to. Maybe that's not what you're referring to. You got to do it, Lorraine. You got to do it.
Got to do it. Got to save him.
You got to save him. You got to save him. Come on. Oh, Christopher, get the fuck out of here. We don't want you back in here. All right. I'll leave. This movie's a long fucking movie, though. Is this longer than the first one?
A little bit longer than the first one, I think. Or it just feels longer because a lot of shit's being dragged out.
You're right. Let me see here. How long was the first Conjuring? The first Conjuring was... Oh. Dude, yeah. This is like 20 minutes longer than the first. Yeah. The first Conjuring wasn't even 2 hours.
There's about 20 minutes they could have shaved off this film.
Yeah, I was just going to say the first Conjuring's not even 2 hours. This one's 2 hours and 14 minutes. So, yeah. All right. Ooh. She's got the eyes. The eyes. The eyes. Come on.
Come on.
Put that cookie down. I think that's Jingle All the Way, if I'm not mistaken. I think he says that in Jingle All the Way.
Is that Kindergarten Cop?
No, I think it's Jingle All the Way. Put that cookie
okay.
down. I think he's on the phone and he's talking to Phil Hartman's character, I think, or something like that. I don't think it's Kindergarten Cop. It's a big chase going on here. They got poor Lorraine Warren, man. She emotionally is spent after these movies, isn't she? Because didn't she picture or have a vision of Ed's death? She did. Yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah, you do. You wrote it down.
What's that? Me? What's going on? Hello, hello, hello? Zach Gaxiola says, Dave, what are your thoughts on the Snyder Cut of Justice League if you've seen it? And what's your stance on the whole debacle compared to the Joss Whedon Frankenstein monster version of 2017? Zach, I have not seen either movies. So I am not qualified to talk about it.
Of Justice League, I've seen it twice. That was good.
Now this is what
I don't know shit about comics, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah. This is where they're trying to get in.
Wouldn't it have been funny if the brick bounced off, hit him in the head?
It hits him in the head, knocks him out.
Knocks him out cold.
Knocks him out. He's out cold. He's on the ground. Oh!
Kind of like that. Instead of the couch hitting him, it was the brick bouncing off the window, hit him in the head.
Did you see the way
he's got
okay,
like
there's
the brick
no way
on his head like Marv has in Home Alone?
He literally jumps up from being hit in the face by a couch. A couch hurtles across the living room, smashes into his face, sends him flying, and he's up.
Man, he's on the steroids.
Ed is fucking the man. He's not fucking the man. I mean, he is the man.
He's the man.
He's the man. I mean, that's insane. That's insane.
I'll go on record and say it. Hands down, they are the horror. If there's a horror movie couple, it's them.
Well, yeah, especially because there's very few horror movie couples. So I would say, yeah, they're definitely, establishing themselves as that now. And the basement floods here too, I think, right?
I mean, next to obviously Bride and Frank. That's just more iconic.
Well, yeah, but that's not modern stuff. We're talking like modern day,
Yeah, I can't think of any other horror couples that are on that level as Vera and Patrick playing Ed and Lorraine.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, and I can't think of any. Maybe the chat room will throw out a couple that I'm not thinking of at the moment. But their chemistry is so good. I believe them to be husband and wife. That's what I really like about them.
Yep. They do. They do have very good chemistry for sure. They do have.
Fuck your vision. I'm going. That's what I would have said. Fuck your vision. I'm going.
Yep.
Of course, that would have not have been like what Ed would have really said.
No.
No, Chucky and Tiffany. No, that I would not count them as a horror couple.
Chucky and Tiffany. Tanner.
Come on, dude.
Come on, dude.
We gotta do a little better than that.
Chucky and Tiffany. No, and I think when we mean couples, I think we're talking about
Dewey and Gail. That's a good one from the screen.
Dewey.
They're good. That's a good, I mean, it's an on-off thing.
I think, okay, look, when you talk to me about horror movie couples, I think of the connection, the emotional connection, the emotional bottom and weight that Ed and Lorraine have, the love that they share for each other, not just horror movie couples in general.
Right. I got you.
Right? Like, I mean, God, if it's just horror movie couples in general, there's an abundance of them.
We're talking about like the deep connection. That you believe that these two people are married.
I'll take Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. from I Know What You Did Last Night. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, I don't mean that. I mean like a real love that you really feel, a compassion that you feel between the couple, because it's also woven into the fabric of the story. It's not, their love is what ultimately helps them to survive. It's the love that they feel for each other. It's the bond that they have that keeps them going through the struggles.
Yeah, you don't see that too often in horror films.
Right. Dewey and Gale
I can't
are a
think of
fucking
anyone.
disaster. They shouldn't. That Dewey and Gale is a high school relationship that should have ended after 6 weeks of dating. I mean, that's what they are. You know what I mean? And so, and it's a quirky, self-aware, spoofy kind of like a relationship. So yes, to be clear, when I think of like a power couple, that's what you think of.
You know, here's another good one. Gomez and Morticia Addams. That's a good, you know, in the horror genre.
I guess, yeah.
As a married couple.
I understand what you're saying. What you're saying. I'd pick them over Gale and Dewey, that's for sure.
Oh, hands down.
Chucky and Tiffany. Chucky and Tiffany. It's like a fucking redneck dysfunctional.
Yeah, Gomez and Morticia, that's a good one. Because they have they got a weird love connection.
Right.
Kind of love connection I'd like to have.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why my relationships fail. Because I'm not into all that like lovey-dovey shit. I want creepy lovey shit.
Well, you got to find yourself.
I want my girl to wake up next to me and saying, I feel like the dead today.
Well, if you want that, then you got to go find a creepy girl.
I know.
You got to find a girl that's all like into that shit.
I know.
You can't
we got the crooked man.
Crooked man. I'm the crooked man taking a stand.
Well, I will say this. I was stunned to find out that
pan.
this was an actor, that it was not CGI. I did not realize that this was actually a dude.
Right.
And this version of the Christmas song here that they're singing is very creepy. It was a nice touch to the background.
Mm-hmm.
Forget the name of this Christmas song. What is it?
Hark
the Herald. Hark the Herald Angels Sing, I think is what it is.
The newborn king.
Yeah.
Peace on earth.
Herman and Lily Munster's good, but of the two, I would say Gomez and Morticia were a little bit more, I don't know, like it's just a weird, creepy type of love. Herman and Lily were just more comedic type of a love relationship, like goofy kind of love. Deborah Myers and Ronnie White, great couple.
Great couple. That's a loving relationship right there.
Bitch, I will rip this off and what does he say?
I think he says, bitch, I will crawl over there and skull fuck the shit out of you.
Oh, God.
Oh, Rob Zombie. You're so edgy, Rob. You're so edgy.
God, if he's doing the Munsters.
I hope not.
I love his music, man. He's one of my favorite solo artists ever, but man.
But don't you want to see, what's his face say, I'm going to crawl over there and skull fuck you, bitch. No. Skull fuck you. That piece of shit.
Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese, I wouldn't call that a love relationship. They basically hooked up and that was it.
Yeah, it's not a relationship.
That was a wham bam, I got you pregnant and I'm gonna die.
Yeah, and I know people think of Terminator as a horror movie. Listen, it's got horror elements, but I wouldn't.
Sci-fi horror.
It is, but it's science fiction first, in my opinion. It's science fiction first.
I agree.
When you walked into the video store back in the 90s,
Aliens is science.
Exactly.
Aliens, the whole thing is science.
Yes,
fiction.
you can. There is a subgenre called sci-fi horror because science fiction is what comes first, right? Because it's the plot, it's the narrative, is science fiction, and you can have horror elements. I'm not saying that horror doesn't exist in sci-fi, and I'm certainly not saying that Alien or Aliens or Terminator 1 especially doesn't have horror. It could not be perceived that way. But once you start making the trend, I mean, you know, there are people out there saying, well, I think it's a slasher movie. And it's like, oh, dude, not everything can't be anything. Then it doesn't, no, it's not a slasher movie. Yes, it is, Dave, because if you think about it, okay, fine. If you want to think of it as a slasher movie, then I guess it's a slasher movie. I don't know. I'm getting too old for this shit. I'm going to be the grumpy man. I'm not the kind of guy that
we're reaching those ages, man.
It's like, fuck, it's not a slasher movie. It's a fucking sci-fi movie. And if you want to call it a sci-fi horror, okay, it's not a slasher movie. You know, I hate God. Okay, okay, then it's a sly. Oh, well, then it's a sly. Don't use Netflix because Netflix will put every fucking movie in every category. If it's got a joke in it, it's suddenly a comedy. You know, if it's got a kiss in it, it's suddenly in the romantic section. It's like, it's fuck off of that shit. It's not. You know, I mean, Jesus, they have what movie? They had Forrest Gump in the comedy section on Netflix. I'm like, it's not a fucking comedy. It's a drama. Put it in the drama section. When I walked into who's running Netflix? 5-year-olds? Think back to when you were, going into the video store. When you walked into the comedy section, did you see Forrest Gump, the biggest rip-roaring comedy of 94? No, you had to go to the drama section. Just because a movie's got a kiss or it's got maybe a little or a joke or a few jokes here or there, it doesn't mean it's a comedy. God. I don't understand people these days.
Dave's turned into Clint Eastwood.
Oh man, I just sit on my porch
where he's like that grumpy old guy. What's that movie?
Gran Torino. That's a fucking great movie. That's a great movie.
Well, because Hans Gruber just quoted, "Get off my slasher movie lawn." That's
true.
Dave.
It's true. It's like, no, it's not a Terminator's not a slasher. The hell? Look up the definition of a slasher. Well, technically, from a certain point of view, it's like, oh God, it's just that. And then, that doesn't mean anything. This is the problem. Like, we think anything can be anything. Well, I think so. Well, it doesn't fucking matter what you think. This is why we have rules. This is why we have clearly defined things.
Now Dave's turning into the horror version of The Rock. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Well, it's like, fuck. Oh yeah, there's that sharp object. Oh no! But he saved the girl. Ed is a fucking hero right now. He saved this girl's life.
One arm while hanging on to curtains.
Yeah.
Clearly he does push-ups.
That's right. Danielle, peanut butter jokes in Halloween. That's right. Hey, there's a peanut butter on my penis joke in Halloween. Throw it in the comedy section. Throw it in there. It's hilarious.
Chester, what about Lori and Michael as a couple? Only in Arkansas.
Yeah, I'm just going to say a couple.
Or Alabama. Couple. No offense to people. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
No, okay. Well, it is strange. Come on. I would not want to have sex with any of my siblings. Oh, come on, Ed. You can do it.
And now this is when Lorraine faces off with Valak.
Yes. Was it the same person that played Valak in this, played her in The Nun as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
she's
cool actress.
She's got a look. She's got a certain look, that's for sure. If you've ever seen the actress, she's quite striking. I mean, like, she's got a unique look to her. Yes. There it is. She's pinned to the wall. And Ed is saving this child's life. Here it comes, down to the last shower curtain ring. Where's Del Griffith when you need him? Saved him. See, this is the love, the connection. Yeah, that's what gets them through, folks. That's what gets them through. Yeah, I mean, it's an all right sequel. Like, it's serviceable. It's definitely, it's long. It is. I think it's too long. Yeah.
20 minutes easily could have been shaved off of this.
It's 2 hours and 14 minutes.
Or still, 20 minutes could have definitely been 100%. Shaved off of this.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Dude, the first Conjuring was 20 minutes shorter.
Yeah. No, like I said, it's in the third spot right now.
Yeah, but it's a good movie. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
When I rank the Conjuring universe, it's sitting there. It's probably going to get bumped down to fourth after The Devil Made Me Do It comes out.
I hope it's good.
Fingers crossed.
Juan ain't directing
crossed.
it. So
I know. My fingers are crossed on that. I hope it's not a shit show. I'm going to be, because my attachment to that story and doing the book report that I did in high school, I want it to be good, and I just got a bad feeling.
Oh, I got you.
I got a really bad feeling.
You got a bad feeling about this, like how they say in every Star Wars movie.
Pretty much.
But you believed in me.
But you believed in me. I did. No, he turns and goes, well, oh, sure. Can you imagine? He's like, sure. Yeah. So out of place, you're like, oh, damn. You just threw shade at Lorraine. He just threw shade at Lorraine.
Zach, didn't we do the original Night of the Living Dead already?
Yeah, I think we did.
We did do that.
I'm pretty sure we did.
I know we haven't done the remake, but I could have sworn we did a live watch of the original.
Of the original Night of the Living Dead? Yeah.
I know we talked about it, but did we do a live watch?
I'm pretty sure. I know I did one for Saturday movie night, but I'm pretty sure we did one too.
If we haven't, for sure we're gonna do it.
I thought we did.
I know we've talked about it. We might not have, and we'll have to double check when we're in the stream tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
If we haven't, then yeah, we'll definitely do a live watch.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Hey, how you fucking doing? What, you think I'm a clown? You think I amuse you?
Sound like Joe Pesci.
That's what I was trying to do.
Joe Pesci on helium.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey.
You know, fucking Tony Moran, when he gets really angry, sounds like Joe Pesci. I'm not kidding. It's fucking hilarious.
Tony Moran, the original Michael Myers.
Yeah, yeah. He's not though. He's not even the original unmasked. He's not even the original unmasked Michael Myers. The original unmasked Michael Myers might be Will Sandin from the beginning of the movie.
That's true.
If you think about
it, technically, from a
point of view.
That's true.
Peggy Hudson would continue. Oh, I missed that.
I missed all of that too.
In 2003, she passed away quietly while sitting in a chair in the living room. Really?
Yes, that's right.
Same spot where
Bill Wilkins died.
See,
that's creepy. I mean, that's
creepy.
Yeah, I mean, it's creepy, but like, still, this movie was just.
Yeah.
They're back at their house. Man, their museum doesn't look anything like that.
No,
it's a lot nicer. You ever seen their museum?
No,
it's cool.
Yeah, but again, this plays more cinematically.
It's a set,
right?
Yeah, it's a set.
It looks better. It looks better for the movies, and that's
everything is neatly placed.
That's right.
Like their real museum,
yes,
not even close like that.
Exactly.
Nothing is neatly placed and organized. Oh, there's Annabelle.
Yep.
I'm thinking we need to do 5 more movies with her.
Oh, fuck. I can't believe they even did 3.
I'd be either. 1 would have been fine. And
it's not like Anna. And you know what's sad? That doll, Annabelle, even with those 3 movies, has not transcended it. Like it's not like people get all excited and crazy about Annabelle.
No.
You could even show that Annabelle doll to the average person on the street and they'd have no idea who the fuck it is. Now, some people would know who it is. Horror fans know who it is, but you could take Chucky and show that to almost any person on the street and they would know who it is. You take that Annabelle doll. No, you don't. See, that's what I mean. So it's like, it almost feels like a waste. You know, it's like, because Annabelle wasn't a main, she works best as a complementary player. Not every creepy thing in a movie needs its own spin-off. Let's do a spin-off of this one. That's a good idea. This is how I picture studio executives being. You know, when you go to the studio executive, you know, you knock on their door. Head of Warner Brothers, can I come in? Yes, sir, come on in.
I want to do 10 Annabelle movies.
Want to do?
Now, before we cut, I do believe. Okay, here's the real recording.
This is the real recording.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to turn this up so the audience can hear it.
Tell me about the beginning, the first night that you were having. What was your brother's doing?
Falling about. I wasn't quite sure now.
It was scary.
Yeah.
Janet, what about Janet?
Yeah. When it comes from your area, Janet, do you feel anything in your throat?
No.
You just don't feel anything? No, I'm looking at Janet.
You're mighty here.
And the voice comes to her, but her mouth doesn't.
You hear the voice?
Yep.
Janet, can you tell when the voice is going to come through you?
No.
You know who I am? You know what my name is? Were you a Christian?
No. Yeah, you know it.
What year did you die? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah, I'm dead. 51.
1961.
I think that's it. It's interesting.
Well,
Like I said, I'm not saying it's not legit, but anybody can throw their voice.
Well, sure, of course. And you can certainly do that. You can get right down in here like this. Is that you? No, it's not me. Are you a Christian? No, I'm not a Christian.
That's what I'm saying, like,
I hate Christianity. I don't want to admit it at all.
I mean, and listen, it's extra strange because obviously it's coming from a girl. So, you look at that and you think, oh, this is kind of weird. But again, there's no context. It's not that I don't believe these things are possible, but I wasn't there. And it's an audio recording. I just have to take this at face value. I can't measure this recording. I'm okay. It sounds creepy. It sounds weird. Sure. Okay. Interesting. And who knows? It's definitely strange. Definitely strange, for sure. It's a pretty good movie, though. I mean, again, I don't like it as much as the first movie, but I think it's a serviceable sequel. I'll be very interested to see how they handle The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. And I'm excited to see it. I'm worried because, again, it's not Juan, but we'll see. Maybe this new guy, not new guy, but this guy who's directing it, maybe this is his opportunity to show what he can do. And maybe he'll be able to, maybe after this movie, he'll be like, whoa, want to see more from this guy. You know what I mean? Who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's go to the chat room and get some of those super chats that came in. Yeah, naturally they're gone. Fuck YouTube. They're taking away my super chats. Not taking them away, but not letting them show up. I got to go over.
Yeah, Mike Hammer 215. The real Annabelle doll is it's an old Raggedy Ann doll. In fact, a lot of people have told me for my Annabelle shoots that that's the one I should be shooting with, and don't do the movie version doll. Do the real one for my Annabelle shoots. I've toyed with that. I've toyed with that idea. I've gone back and forth on, do I do the movie doll because that's what they did in the movie, or do I do the real doll? Because you can find people out there who sell those old school Annabelle dolls that the Warrens have in their house.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just like a Raggedy Andy doll or a Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah, it's an old Raggedy Ann doll. And I've gone back and forth and I've toyed with that. And a lot of people have told me that that's the one I should do instead of doing the movie doll.
It's more authentic.
It is. It's
like Freddy's sweater without the stripes and the sleeves kind of thing. It's
exactly.
Like deep cuts.
It's a deep cut. I'm going old school. I'm going real with it. I'm not doing the movie version. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, super chats here. We have David Coe sends in 499, says, if you guys were professional baseball players, what would your walk-up songs be? That's a good question. It would be awesome if someone walked up to the Halloween theme. Well, rights may be an issue there as well.
No,
it depends.
Baseball players can walk up to anything.
I know. No, I know that, but I'm just, but they can. But I'm saying, because it is being presented in a public forum like that, it's possible that, rights holders could make a stink. They could. They generally don't over that kind of stuff. But if somebody wanted to be a dick, they could. Like if you found out that your song was being played, you could make a stink about it. Technically speaking, legally, you could. But I don't know if Trancas would be okay with that because they can be a little anal sometimes. But that being said, I
know what I would walk up to.
Maybe Back in Black. Yes.
I'd walk up to Hanson Oombop. So everybody
by Hanson. Yes.
Just so that everybody, the crowd and all the opposing players can be like, what the fuck is he walking up to?
That's it. Bop by Hanson. That's what I think.
We're going to get copyright now.
I would like Back in Black, probably. I don't know. Bantam 360 sends in $5, says, Dave, just got done playing the Arkham games with Mark Hamill. And Mark Hamill puts on a stellar performance as the Joker. Got any favorite voiceover performances?
What's an Arkham game, by the way? Just
I think it's a Batman game or something. I think Batman.
I don't know shit about gaming.
Well, Mark Hamill, he says Mark Hamill puts on a stellar performance as the Joker, so that's, of course, he plays the Joker in the Batman.
Well, I know he does like the animated TV.
Yeah, I think it's a game, a Batman game.
Okay.
Do I have any favorite voiceover performances? I don't. But I don't. I wouldn't say I do. I don't. It's funny. People often ask me, do I, and it's not that you can't be working in the business and not admire people, but I don't, listen, this is going to sound really like, I don't know, pompous, I guess, but I don't mean it to sound this way. Like, I don't have any mentors in the business. I don't have anybody I look up to, really. I don't, I don't have any favorite performances or anything. And I just don't. I've never thought about it. I've never, I just don't. And I don't mean it to sound arrogant, because I certainly don't mean it that way. I just mean that I've never thought about it. I've just always put my nose to the grindstone, as they say, and been doing my thing. And I've never really, I mean, I know talented people that are really talented and very good at what they do and are really, really good. I guess a good example would be, I was talking about him on my show the other day, is a fellow Canadian, a fellow Torontonian, actually, by the name of Eric Bauza. He's our age, and he lives in LA, and he's the new voice of Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. He's been doing Looney Tunes. I think he was the voice of Marvin the Martian like 10 years ago or something. So he's been doing it for a while. He's been doing it for a minute. Yeah, he's been doing it for a while, but he recently became more the new regular voice of Bugs Bunny and Daffy. And you can hear him in the new, you can hear him as Bugs and Daffy on the new HBO Max Looney Tunes shows. And he's also, I don't know if he's Bugs in Space Jam 2 or if that's Jeff Bergman, but he's definitely Daffy in Space Jam 2. Anyways, he's a solid dude, really nice guy, and I want to get him on my show. I haven't talked to him in a few years. We do follow each other on Twitter because about 7 or 8 years ago, I was doing a voiceover podcast with a couple of VO buddies of mine, and we call ourselves the Three Amivos instead of Amigos. Amivos, yeah, exactly. I can't take credit for that, but it was cool. Yeah. And we interviewed a bunch of people, and he was one we wanted to interview because obviously he's a fellow Torontonian from Canada, and really, really nice guy and super uber duper talented. So now I can't say that I look up to him because I don't really know him. I've never met him in person. I've only talked to him. But I will say that I admire his ability to do impressions. I'm not an impressionist. I mean, I know my walk-in is, hello, come on, but that's not an impression. Like, I would have to, like, a real impression, and I'm telling you this, okay? In the world of VO, I'm going to tell you this. An impressionist is somebody who can do an impression of that somebody, talk like them for like 20 minutes without breaking character, that's an impression. Doing a one line or somebody's catchphrase like Homer Simpson's dough or, Ronald Reagan, well, or something. That's not an impression. That's just in a line, right? But Eric Bauza is a great impressionist. And he does Bugs and Daffy to a T. He's fucking hilarious because he's so good. So I don't fancy myself an impressionist. Now I can do a bunch of caricatures. Like I can do a bunch of voices that are just original type of voices, like, all sorts of weird kind of sounds and crazy voices and all that I can just do, but I'm not an impressionist. Like I can't suddenly turn around and, do Daffy Duck or something. But I wish I was. And I think I probably could have if I started younger, but I think I just never did that. I was always somebody that just did my own stuff, my own funny voices and characters, because I sort of emulated my dad a lot too, which was he did all sorts of just funny voices, and not anybody you can pin down, just a funny voice. And so I always did that, which is why I'm very good at doing that. If I had started younger, maybe honing my skills imitating sort of cartoon characters like these guys did, then who knows? Maybe I'd be, the new voice of Daffy Duck or something. But Eric is a sweetheart of a guy, and I would love to get him on the show. And his Daffy and Bugs are like brilliant, not good, not pretty good, brilliant. That's why he's the new voice of those characters. So yeah, again, not looking up to anybody, just there's people I admire, but I wouldn't say that I'm a fan or anything. I don't know. I don't really think about it. I don't really think about it. And I don't mean that in a arrogant way. I just don't think about it. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. But there's a lot of talented people out there, men and women. They're out there in VO for sure. For sure. And then Danielle sends in $2 and says, Harvey Weinstein and Victor Salva walk into a bar. Harvey Weinstein and Victor Salva walk into a bar and they say, ow, that hurt. There you go. I don't know. That was a lame joke. What else we got here? The Spiral Sky Project sends in $5, says John Carpenter truly never wanted to do a Halloween 2 because Bob Clark never told him his idea for Black Christmas Part 3. That's funny. I need a, that's funny. Good. Where's my, I need a rim shot here. Where is it? God, I should have these more on
cue.
Yeah, where's my rim shot? Where'd it go? Oh, maybe I took it off here. I thought I had it on here. Oh no, there it is. There it is. There we go. I need to put on another screen. Yeah, no, that's true. No, John. Well, and again, even Bob Clark said that. I don't know. I don't know if John Carpenter. Now, I don't know if John Carpenter has ever confirmed whether that story is true. And I'm not saying that Bob Clark is lying. I don't think he'd have any reason to lie. Because even Bob Clark says, now listen, just because I had mentioned to John casually that if I was to do a sequel, I'd probably set it like a year later, set it on Halloween, and he escapes from a mental institution or whatever, doesn't mean that John Carpenter, copied that idea. And I mean, even Bob Clark has said Halloween is its own thing. I mean, the music, the setting, the mask, you know what I mean?
Sure.
It's his own thing. Even Clark has admitted that. Like he said, don't think that Carpenter copied me. You know what I mean? Was he influenced? Yeah, maybe. Maybe he was. Maybe even unconsciously. You know what I mean? But we also have to remember, too, that the idea for Halloween didn't come from John Carpenter. The idea came from Irwin Yablans. And the idea to set the movie on Halloween also came from Irwin Yablans. So
wasn't the movie also called The Babysitter Killers or something?
The Babysitter Murders was the working title. Yeah. And they were going to go with that until Irwin Yablans said, you know what? There isn't a movie. And at that time, there was no movie anywhere called Halloween ever. It had never been used.
Fucking crazy.
Which is crazy. So they decided, why don't we call it Halloween? And he said, why don't we set it on Halloween? Which was the first kind of thought, right? Why don't we set it on Halloween? That's fucking creepy. Because then that gives an excuse for our, have the mask on. Fuck it, not just set it on Halloween. Why don't we call it Halloween? And that all came from Irwin Yablans. So
the rest is history.
Right. So now the story about escaping from the mental institute and all that, and I don't believe Irwin Yablans and Bob Clark knew each other. I don't think they did. Unless maybe Carpenter told Irwin that. So who knows, right? I mean, I don't know Irwin that well. I mean, I've only met him, a couple of times. So it's not like, we're buds, but he, and who knows what stories get, changed a little bit. Stories get changed a little bit over the years. But certainly, yeah, that is true. So, did Carpenter copy Clark? No. Was he inspired? Maybe.
I buy it.
Yeah, maybe. Harmon Olsen sends in $5, says, do you think if Brian Andrews had reprised his role as Tommy Doyle in Halloween 6, Paul Rudd would have lost roles and Brian Andrews would be Ant-Man and in Clueless? The answer is no.
Paul Rudd would have already been casted in Clueless to play that part as what's her name's brother, Alicia Silverstone. Weren't they like siblings? in that flick, or step
Yeah,
siblings, not real siblings, but step siblings.
That's right.
And then him being cast as Ant-Man 20 plus, they're almost 30 years later. Yeah, they would have had nothing to do with it. Brian Andrews just would have came back and reprised his role. That would have been it.
That's it. And you have to remember too that Brian Andrews, and this is just the reality of the business. Okay. Now he may have looked a little better back then. Okay, because it was 25 years ago. Okay,
he's in rough shape today.
He looks a little rough today, and he probably looked better back then. Okay.
Sure, you're talking about almost 30 years ago.
Exactly, but this is the entertainment business, and Paul Rudd is more of a, now he's not a leading man in the sense, but he's handsome. He's dark and handsome. Dude. He's a good looking dude. Brian Andrews is not that. I'm not saying, look, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, right?
I know you have to justify yourself too. It sucks.
It does. Well, because there's going to be people out there that, lack nuance, right?
Mean.
But it's the reality of the business. No, I do not believe Brian Andrews would have become Ant-Man. I still think Paul Rudd would have become Ant-Man. And the reason why Brian Andrews is not in Halloween Kills is because he doesn't have an agent and he's got psychological problems. Now, I don't know how well he's doing now. I hope he's doing okay. I mean, seriously, sincerely, shout out to, Brian Andrews, and hope he's doing okay. But he's gone through a lot of problems. And it was just about a year or so ago, it was before the pandemic, when there were posts on his Facebook page. He was posting phone calls of him talking to his mother's care lady and on the phone. It was like it was insane stuff.
Like
it was
private shit
private shit that should not be posted on Facebook. And Brian Andrews is leaning into this care lady because he doesn't believe that his mom is being taken care of. And maybe he's right, I don't know. But it's dirty laundry that should just not be aired. And it doesn't look good for him. So the reason why Blumhouse and Universal didn't go to Brian Andrews is because he's not represented, and he has to be represented. It's a SAG. It's a SAG-AFTRA unionized production. He has to have an agent. He has to have some sort of representation. He doesn't have to have the biggest of the big, but he's got to have rep. He does not have rep, and he's a liability. You can't count on him. It's like, we don't is he going to show up to set? Is he not going to show up to set? Like, we don't have time to fuck around here. Yeah. It's not cost. You probably could have got him for $200,000 probably, but it's not cost. It's liability. He's a liability, and he's not represented. And it's just like, you know what? We don't want to deal with that. We don't have time to deal with that. We love Brian. We wish him the best. We hope he's okay and he gets the help that he needs. But it's business, And
if his schedule would have allowed it, and he wasn't tied up with the Marvel shit that he was doing, I think it was Marvel. Would you have wanted Paul Rudd? Ghostbusters. Yeah. Would you have wanted Paul Rudd in this Halloween, or do you like Anthony Michael Hall cast as Tommy?
Well, I haven't seen Anthony Michael Hall as Tommy Doyle yet, but just based on looks, I totally believe, just based on looks, that is the same man from 1978 or the same boy. I totally believe it. I buy it
40 years
100%.
Later.
Yep. Yeah. Just based on looks. Paul Rudd looks nothing like the kid from 1978.
Not even close.
Nothing. No, I wouldn't have been, because it makes no sense, because this is not the same timeline. Halloween 4, 5, and 6 do not exist. It makes just as much sense as to cast Daniel Harris. It makes no sense. It doesn't. Yes, for the fans, it's a yay, but it makes no sense because even if he was playing Tommy Doyle, he wouldn't be playing the same Tommy Doyle from Halloween 6.
Different Tommy Doyle, because that Tommy Doyle knows who Jamie is.
Exactly, exactly. So the Tommy Doyle from Halloween 6, played by Paul Rudd, the Tommy Doyle played by Paul Rudd in Halloween Kills, hypothetically, would have no memory of the events from Halloween 6. So what's the point?
What never happened. Yeah, so what's the point?
What's the point? Right, exactly.
This gives the character a fresh jump start from the original. And I trust Anthony Michael Hall as an actor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I think he's gonna be all right.
He's a great actor. He's a great actor.
Rusty.
Yeah, and I've tried to explain to people before too, and I don't know if people think of this, and maybe you don't think of this consciously, and it's understandable why, but I do. Part of the reason why we want certain characters back is because of the history the character represents. Yep. It's one of the arguments I've made with Danielle Harris. Nothing against Danielle, but she could play Jamie Lloyd.
He doesn't like Danielle.
No, Not at all. No, I mean, I like her very much. She's fine. But in terms of, we love seeing, what was cool about seeing Harrison Ford back as Han Solo wasn't just that it was, it wasn't just that it was Han Solo was back. It was Harrison Ford back as Han Solo, but it was the same Han Solo. Do you remember that moment in The Force Awakens when Harrison Ford turns around and says, yeah, I knew him, right? Right? He starts talking about the Jedi and shit, right? And I got goosebumps and it's emotional. Or when Harrison Ford says, Chewie, we're home. It gives you goosebumps, and people went crazy because it's not just Harrison Ford playing Han Solo. It's the emotional connection to the same character. It's the same Han Solo that is connected to our emotional nostalgia from our childhood. It's the same character, the same Han Solo, not an alternate version of Han Solo. It's the same Han Solo. So when we watch that Han Solo, we're living vicariously through the moment of, wow, this is the same guy. This is the same guy that went through all that made the Kessel Run and run in less than 12 parsecs. This is the same guy that was frozen in carbonite. This is the same guy. It's not just the same actor. It's the same character. So our emotional, so we're watching this character and we're knowing that character has those memories. That character has those, those connections and stuff. You don't think of that consciously necessarily, but that's part of the reason why it's cool and it's amazing and it's goosebumpy and it gets you in the feels. It's not just the actor, it's the character they're playing. And if Paul Rudd is not playing that same character, who cares? Who cares? It's not the same. So that character has no memory of 6. That character did not beat Michael Myers over the head with a pipe, which is probably for the best. That character did not live across the street from Kara Strode. That character does not exist. He's the same character in name only. So that's why I was like, what the fuck's the point? Then it's purely fan service.
Yeah.
And it makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. So cast a dude that actually looks like him. Here's your chance. Here's your chance, right? So yeah, that's how I feel about it. Get off my soapbox.
Good shit.
All right, we'll go a couple. Oh, Jesus, this is like almost a 3-hour stream. Holy shit.
Yeah, you can go because we're going to be gone for a few weeks.
That's true. We'll take this to 3 hours. We'll take another 15 minutes. Yeah. We'll take it to 3 hours because we're going to, that's right. We're going to be gone a couple of, we're going to be gone till November. So,
no, we're going to be gone for the next 6 months, guys.
That's right. Yeah. See you later. See you later, fuckers. See you later, fuckers. All right, what do we got here? Let's see here. Chester Franklin Jr. says, Tony, whose idea was it to do the jingle for Halloween 3, Deborah Hill, Tommy Wallace, John Carpenter, Alan Howarth?
Are you talking about the 8 more days?
I think so. I think he's asking a trivia question.
I don't know.
I think it was Tommy Lee Wallace, if I'm not mistaken.
Silver Shamrock.
Because it's Tommy Lee Wallace's voice going, hello, kids.
Yeah, he does I was
Halloween.
gonna say the talk voiceover for that commercial.
Yeah, he does a good job.
I have that vinyl.
Simon Dayton,
Imagine if it was as annoying as this.
Simon Dayton, Halloween, 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 Simon Dayton, Halloween, Halloween.
I bet you during production that's what they were doing because they were tired of hearing it.
Oh, fuck yes. Oh, yes, for sure. Bishop Walters says, Dave and Tony, who had the bigger impact in movies and will have a more impressive long-term legacy years after they die? Clint Eastwood or Harrison Ford? I'll go with Clint by an edge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what are we talking about here? Because now are we talking about
what's the measuring stick?
Just as actors, because remember Clint's also done phenomenal career in directing too.
That's
so
true.
It's too.
Yeah, I mean both are legends.
Yeah, they're both legends in their own right. And I think they're both going to be very much revered in time when their time is gone and they've moved on to the next life.
Yeah.
I hate questions. No, like I don't mean like your question. I know what you mean.
It's tough.
It's tough because they're both legends. I mean,
yeah.
Just put one over the other. I don't.
Clint
like
Eastwood, of course, he has the larger filmography in terms of acting and directing. And his filmography goes back to the 50s, if I'm not mistaken.
He's been missing for a minute.
Yeah, Harrison Ford's first movie was Dead Heat on Merry-Go-Round in about, I think it was 66 or something like that, maybe it was 68, where he just played a bellhop boy. He just had a small role in that. And then, of course, his big break, his first break came in 73 in American Graffiti. And then, of course, his big break came in 77.
Wasn't that George Lucas's? No, that wasn't Lucas's first film, but
no, Lucas's first film was THX 1138.
THX, yeah.
And then he did American Graffiti, and
then all those words together.
I know THX, yeah.
THX.
We gotta watch that. That'd be a good one to watch. We should watch Spielberg's first.
And Kubrick's first.
We should watch Kubrick. Yeah, Kubrick's first. We should watch Spielberg's
2001? Fuck yeah.
No, that wasn't his first. Kubrick's first? No.
His first big one. I don't think we can get his access.
Oh, his first big. No, Kubrick's first, he did Lolita, which I own.
Oh, that's right, Lolita.
He also did Spartacus, didn't he?
Did he do Spartacus?
I think he did. Hang on a second.
I always forget about Lolita.
I own Lolita. Stanley. I say Stanley Kubrick, but a lot of people like to say Kubrick. I say Kubrick. Yeah, you go back to him as a director. His first movie, a documentary short, Flying Parade, but that's its first movie, Fear and Desire, 1953. Is that a short? Or it doesn't look like it. Is it a short? $33,000. It's me, Billy, cost more. It is. Well, yeah. It's 62 minutes long. So
was 1951. Oh, that's a documentary.
Yeah,
Fear and Desires would be, based on this would be that.
Oh, Padre. Why did I say parade? What did I said parade.
He did do Spartacus.
He did. Yeah, he did Spartacus in 60. Paths of Glory.
Holy fuck.
In 57.
No, he did. Oh, that's right. Dr. Strangelove was also before.
Yeah,
yeah. That's a good one too.
Yeah. And Lolita 62, and then Dr. Strange, and then he did 2001.
Damn, he did Spartacus? I had no clue that he did Spartacus. That's insane. I mean, obviously, I have Lolita, I have Dr. Strangelove. Yeah. Why did I not know? And this is my boy. This is my god. This is my hero.
He did The Killing in 56 too.
I did not know he did fucking Spartacus. That's it. I'm gonna put myself in timeout tomorrow.
It's amazing though, he's one of the most influential filmmakers in the history of cinema, and he directed 16 films. And
that's actually a lot. That's actually a lot.
Well, it is, but when you compare it to like Spielberg, who's directed over 50, and for most,
well, Spielberg's also had a longer life too.
No,
Kubrick's been dead since when? He died.
Well, he hasn't had a lot. No, Kubrick died when he was, I think he was 79 when he died.
Was he 79?
Yeah, sorry, 70. He died when he was 70.
He was 70. Yeah.
But Kubrick also, though, famously only made a movie like once every like 7 or 8 years.
But that's the way you do it. When you find the inspiration to do it, do it. You know,
that's
you don't
right.
oversaturate yourself.
He was very good. He was very good. But definitely, yeah. And then, but Spielberg's first movie was Duel. I love that movie. And
Halloween on Wheels.
Yeah, I mean Jaws on. Well, that or Jaws on Wheels. Yeah.
Yeah. Or Jaws on Wheels. Sorry.
Yeah. Good stuff. But anyway, where are you guys?
Yeah, we should do 2000 though. We should do 2000.
Oh, 2001's a great fucking movie. It's a great movie. All right, a few more minutes. Just a few more minutes on the show.
Wow, I did not know he did Spartacus. I'm still dumbfounded that I did not know that.
You did. Harmon Olsen.
What's his name? The star in that one. That's his daddy, Douglas's dad, right? Michael Douglas's dad plays Spartacus.
That's right, Kirk Douglas.
Douglas.
Yeah. Harmon Olsen sends in $2. Says Freddy films destroy Friday films box office wise. Are you asking a question? Oh, you do have a question mark. Are you asking me if the original Friday series made less money at the box office than the original Elm Street series?
I
don't know.
More, right?
I don't know because there's more Friday films. Elm Street series.
Well, I mean, look, hands down, the highest grossing film of all time is Jason X. I mean, it's legend, and it made $1 trillion zillion. Wait, what's the line? How much?
Okay, so
Dr. Evil want in
Yes, the Elm Street series is more, but not by much. This is from the the Philadelphia Inquirer from, this isn't from today. Is it from today? No, this is from 2015. Okay, so this is 6 years ago. Okay, so things would have changed, especially with Halloween. Things would have changed with Halloween. Halloween would no longer be in the 12th spot. Halloween would be number one. Halloween wouldn't be number one. They still haven't passed Scream. Halloween would now be in the number 8 spot behind The Exorcist. But in 2015, since we haven't had an Elm Street or Friday film since then, the Friday series has made a total of $445,239,523. So $445 million for Friday, and Elm Street's $457. So not by much.
I'm not shocked by that, because in the 80s, Freddy was more popular. Freddy was very mainstream.
Yeah,
you know?
It's not by much. Now,
not that Jason wasn't as popular.
No.
He was, but
now, as of this writing, in 2015, they had Halloween series at 343, so 343 million. Well, since the $250 million Halloween 18, that thing is closer to 600 million.
And with kills and ends coming out, that's
exactly. But the highest grossing horror series, I guess, if you want to call it, it's got some sci-fi in there too, is Alien. The Alien series.
I'm not surprised, because
at 1,261,000,000.
Yeah. Well, because keep in mind, you've got the original 4 films, and then you've got the new ones, Alien Covenant and Prometheus, which are 2 fucking great movies. Yeah. I enjoy those the newer Aliens. I'm not a fan of Alien versus Predator. I don't care for those. Yeah. I've shared with you guys on Instagram how my niece, she's a big Alien fan, so whenever we get together, we're always watching that franchise.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the third one's okay. But oh my God, Resurrection is just like everything with Resurrection after it just sucks.
Resurrection.
Anything with Resurrection in the subtitle sucks.
Resurrection is awful.
It is, and I mean, I love Winona Ryder. Don't get me wrong, it's Winona, but yeah, wasn't a fan. But when they came back to form with Prometheus and Alien Covenant, I was like, yeah, this makes me feel like, I'm watching an Alien movie, especially like when you juxtapose it to Alien and Aliens. Right. And those are usually the 4 films that me and her, my niece, will typically watch. Will be Alien, Aliens, and then Alien Covenant and Prometheus.
Gotcha.
Did you see Prometheus and Alien Covenant?
I haven't seen Alien Covenant, but I have seen
Michael
Prometheus.
Fassbender.
No, but I have seen. Yeah. I have seen Prometheus, but not Alien Covenant. No, not Alien Covenant. All right, just 3 more minutes, folks. 3 more minutes to go. 3 more minutes to go.
Cerebral Assassin, Dave, thoughts on the horror franchise? Who is the scariest horror villain of all time?
Well, again, define all scary. Time. Define scary. What do you mean by scary? What do you mean? What are we measuring here, buddy? What are we measuring? Scary. How do we measure scary, right? Like, are we talking, scariest horror, the scariest horror villain of all time? I mean, we talking about, Hannibal Lecter's really scary and he doesn't fucking do anything, you know what I mean? And, or are we talking like, I don't know. I don't know. The horror villain of all. Darth Vader's pretty scary. It's not horror though, but he's pretty fucking scary. Scariest horror villain of all time. I'm going to be honest with you. I think probably the scariest horror villain of all time is probably what now
it's
I'm thinking
tough, like what you said, how are you measuring it?
Yeah, I'm thinking about this realistically. So like imagine if this was actually happening, right? Okay. So this is how I'm going to measure, right? That's my measuring stick, right?
We're going on reality.
Right. Like imagine take the fictional world and imagine if it was really happening.
Okay.
Right? What would be the scariest horror villain? Well, I don't think it's any question. It's Freddy Krueger, A Nightmare on Elm Street. Because
if you turn him into reality and not dream.
Right. Like, can you imagine? No. I mean, that scenario is a reality. Like where
because you're vulnerable.
Because you're vulnerable. Because you'd be so afraid to go to sleep. You'd be petrified to go to sleep. You wouldn't know what to do. Like if that was a real situation, can you imagine? Like take the movie. Can you imagine how fucking scary that would be?
Or at least the first two Freddy's, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not comedy.
No. I'm talking like just take Freddy out of it. Let's take Freddy out of it and just imagine this.
The scenario.
Right. The scenario. There is somebody that can kill you in your sleep, in your dreams. They don't have to touch you. They don't have to talk to you. They're not even real. It's somebody you dream about. And that somebody can murder you in your sleep, in your dream. And if they murder you in your dream, you're dead for real. Oh my God. Are you any more vulnerable? There's an old saying that says, we are no more closer to death when we're alive than we are when we're asleep. And what that means is that you and I can die in our sleep and we would never know.
That's true.
We would never know. There's so many. We just
wouldn't wake up.
We just wouldn't wake up. So we would never know. There are, in some ways, people always, say that that's the best way to go, right? Obviously, you hope it happens when you're 90 and not 40.
125, baby.
Right, exactly, right? but it's because of that saying that basically means you are no more vulnerable when you're alive than you are when you're asleep. Somebody could break in, sneak into your room. You don't hear it. You could die in your sleep. You are so vulnerable when you're asleep. You are so vulnerable because your senses have now, transitioned to another realm. And so I would say that that's how I'm going to look at it. What is the scariest villain? If you want to take it, well, it's probably Freddy. If you really think about it, that's fucking scary shit.
I was going to go more Leatherface because
Leatherface
with
too,
Leatherface. Yeah. With Leatherface, for me, it's obviously based off of a hybrid of, couple of real life people like Ed Gein for one.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the other two guys that he's based off of as well too. He's based off of like three people, Ed Gein being one of them. Chat room, you guys help me out.
And remember, I think I know where Tony is going with this, but he can correct me if I'm wrong. When I say Freddy, I mean, yes, this is part of what makes him scary, but I'm not talking about the way he looks. I'm not even talking about what he uses to kill you. Yes, that's scary. And yes, the way he looks is scary, no doubt about it, right? But it's the principle of how he can get you. And I think Tony might be going in the same direction where it's like, yes, the way he looks is scary, he's got you, but it's everything that encompasses it. Like it's a bit more than that. Michael Myers is it's not as scary.
He's anybody. He's any serial killer. He's Ted Bundy. You know what I mean? He's just a man who stalks women and
exactly. And it's anyone. No slight against that, but it's just the, and I think, and I'm not saying that Michael isn't scary. I'm not saying that at all. But the question was, who's the most scary? Anyway, go ahead, Tony. Sorry. And then
I was just saying because, with Leatherface, peeling off someone's face and using it as your face and eating them on top.
It's the isolation.
Like it's just in the isolation. And the fact that Leatherface, like I was just saying a moment ago, he's based off of real life events.
Right.
And I'm drawing a blank on the fucking two other people he's based off of. That's just creepy. I mean, it's redneck, it's hillbilly, but it's not Rob Zombie redneck hillbilly,
right.
Which is what I like. And it's just fucking like, could you just imagine you're out with your friends and you stumble across this house and your whole fucking world gets flipped upside down by these fucking crazy people that live in this house and they're gonna eat you. You know what I mean? Like what the fuck? And that's like the fact of the matter is that shit like that has actually happened.
Exactly. And that's my point, right?
What's fucked up about Leatherface. That's
exactly. So everything you've said has very little to do with the way he looks or even the weapon he's using, right? It's the premise. It's the premise. And that's why I said, let's take Leatherface out of it, right? So we took Freddy out of it, right? Let's take Leatherface and the chainsaw out of it, and let's just say, imagine a scenario where you're driving in fucking Texas in the country, and a serial killer, you're in the middle of fucking nowhere, you know, you break down or you need a whatever the case is, and you end up in a scenario where there is a killer after you in the middle of fucking nowhere with cannibals, that, like that. It's the premise. It's the isolation. It's the vulnerability.
Yep.
Right? It's the vulnerability. So again, Tony and I are sort of talking about, it's not that he isn't scary.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's not that he isn't scary. Of course, Leatherface is fucking scary. Of course, Freddy is scary. Of course, Michael is even scary, right? But I think Michael is
the dime a dozen serial killer.
Yes,
he really is.
At the end of the day.
And I'm not minimizing the character, but it's in comparison. The reality.
It's in comparison to, you know what I mean? Right. It's relative, right? It's relative. Right. And so I think that, yeah, when you think of Freddy and how he's able to get you, or the isolation of the Texas Chainsaw scenario, it's the two scenarios that suddenly become very frightening because you're your most vulnerable.
Yep. Chester, Jason Voorhees, the only Jason I would say would be Sackhead Jason, because that would be more realistic, a hermit living out in the middle of nowhere, wearing a fucking potato sack on his head. And I'm not saying it because it's my favorite. I'm saying it because it's the reality.
Right.
You're not going to have some zombie fucking looking dude coming back from the grave looking like fucking Walking Dead.
Right.
With a hockey mask. Like, that's just not, there's no reality to that. So to me, but if there's some hillbilly coming at me with a fucking sack on his face, like, that'll probably happen if you get lost in the fucking hills of Virginia or West Virginia and shit like that, where Wrong Turn took place. Right? I think that's where Wrong Turn
something like
located,
that.
somewhere
something
right
like
there.
That. Yeah.
So that's, if I were to say Jason, it would be based on that version of Jason, because that would be more a realistic scenario,
right?
And something crazy like that happening. The hockey mask, although it's iconic, that's just there's no reality.
Gotcha.
I can't base anything off of real. Like, at least with Michael, there are people out there who we can tie that type of a character, like Ted Bundy. You can tie elements of Michael's personality to Ted Bundy.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I
right.
mean?
Yep.
And whatnot. So.
No, it's a good point. It's a good point. All right, folks, listen, that's going to do it for Tony and I here on episode 112 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. Thanks to our great moderators, Frank Riker, Tabitha Short, Darren Sands, and Chris Baber, for doing what you guys do.
Frank tonight.
He was in there. He was in there. Really appreciate what you guys do. Thank you to the Super Chat questions, the non-Super Chat questions. Of course, you guys are amazing. Tony and I will not be back for the next couple of weeks. 3 weeks, folks. We'll be back in 3 weeks for episode 113. So we really appreciate your love and support to the channel and watching these shows. You guys are amazing. Tony, any last things you want to say before we skedaddle for a while?
No, man, this was fun, and we'll be back in 3 weeks.
Be back in 3 weeks, folks. Thanks very much. You guys are amazing. Have a great rest of your night, and we will talk to you soon.
We will be back.
Cheers.